Greetings, everybody, and once again, welcome to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium in Wichita, Kansas. It's time for Hutchinson Community College Baseball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. This evening, day number 2 of the Region 6 tournament. The number 3 Blue Dragons getting set to take on the number 14 Johnson County Cavaliers in a winner's bracket semifinal. Steve Carpenter with you. I'll be joined momentarily by Denny Steckline. A total matchup of ranked teams. Hutchinson number 3, Johnson County number 14. The Blue Dragons got into this game with a 7-1 win over KCK yesterday afternoon. Johnson County was a 7-4 winner over Dodge City last night. We had mentioned yesterday that the Blue Dragons were looking for a little bit of redemption against KCK. They had knocked the Blue Dragons last year into the losers bracket. And now the Dragons look for a little bit more redemption, as Johnson County was the team that knocked them out. If you go to the BlueDragonSports.com and go to the records page, there's a video with the call that Denny Steckline and I had with Bobby Malaki's game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th last year. And then all of a sudden, Johnson County scored 4 runs in the top of the 10th, really took the wind out of the sails and ended the Blue Dragons season. So Denny Steckline, as he was not here with me last night. He was at the graduation. What are your initial thoughts? You got to talk to Coach Schmidt. What are your initial thoughts heading into this one?
Well, Carp, probably the key and something that the Dragons got last night from Nolan Hoffman was a complete game that saved everybody else on the pitching staff. And you cannot underestimate in an event like this, in a tournament like this, to where there's the potential to go Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. You've got to keep those arms as fresh as you possibly can. And the Dragons are sitting in good position now. Coach was real happy with the pitching effort, reasonably happy with the offense. You know, they scored 7 runs, which you'll take 7 runs any day you can get them. But I know the top of the first that I watched before commencement, bases loaded, 1 out. We got nobody across. I think we loaded them again later, and there were maybe 2 instances. We had second and third with less than 2 outs and couldn't get any of those runs across. So the Dragons are going to have to take advantage of that and capitalize on it throughout this tournament, because the teams they face are obviously going to get better and better, and the pitchers they face are going to get better and better.
Freshman Zach Moore goes to the mound for Hutchinson, 8-0 in his freshman campaign with a 3.54 ERA. He'll be opposed by lefty sophomore Tyler LaPlante, 3-2 with a 3.86 ERA. When we return, Denny Steckline will talk with HCC head coach Ryan Schmidt. It's the Blue Dragons and the Cavaliers live from Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. This is the Blue Dragons Sports Network.
Welcome to Blue Dragon Baseball pregame show. I'm here with head coach Ryan Schmidt. Coach Schmidt, first of all, congratulations on the big win yesterday, 7-1 over KCK. Talk a little bit about Nolan Hoffman's performance in that one.
I think it really set the tone, and the way he pounded the strike zone, the way our innings stayed short on a defensive standpoint. He got us back in the house so we can get our offense going. It took us a little bit to get going offensively, but Nolan Hoffman was a calming presence out there, and he kept the game moving, whether it was keeping the ball on the ground, getting a bunch of ground balls, or whether it was striking guys out. There was a good pace to it, and it led to us eventually getting going offensively.
And, you know, could have been possibly his best performance of the year with what he did. And you mentioned the offense, left a lot of guys on base, still got 7 runs across, but something that the guys are going to have to work through as we get deeper in this tournament.
Yeah, we're going to see everybody's best pitching like everybody is, and the games are going to be tight there early on and as we go, and every pitch is going to mean something. You know, we're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity that we get. We've got to cash the check, as I like to say a lot. We've got to cash a check in those opportunities, because those opportunities don't come around in postseason play.
they're going to get rarer and rarer as you get into it. So, Coach, we've got big game coming up against Johnson County here in just a little bit. Who are you going to be throwing for us, and anything different we're going to see in the lineup tonight?
You bet. We're going to start Zach Moore on the mound, and he's been dealing with his leg stuff, but he's been begging to get back out there, and he's cleared and ready to go, and so we're excited for him. He's had such a great year this year. He's going to be another guy that sets the tone really well, and we are going to make a lineup change with Julian Ripp in right field. He's going to come in against the left-hander that we're facing. We take Brock Schaefer out, but if they move back, then that gives us a move later in the game that we can go with. But that's how we're going to roll in this one.
Sounds great, Coach. Appreciate your time, and good luck. Get the guys going tonight, and we look forward to seeing a great game.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome back to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium, everybody. A very special presentation just took place down on the field. The Jayhawk Conference baseball umpires have created a Umpire of the Year award, and the first recipient is Tim Davis. Timmy D, as he's well known, a longtime umpire, and he has contracted a rare lung disease, which is preventing him from doing the thing he loves, which is umpire. He's been umpiring for more than 30 years. He's been the NBC Umpire of the Year. He is still the UIC of the Alaska League. And Timmy D, one of the real good umpires in the Jayhawk that we've seen. He's done several of these Region 6 tournaments. So congratulations to him. And that award will be named after him and given yearly here at the Region 6 tournament. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. Let's get to the starting lineups as the managers' meeting is ready to take place. Hutchinson will be the home team tonight. So the lineup for Johnson County, the visiting team, ranked number 14 in the country, 45-14 under Hall of Fame coach Kent Shelley. Nick McMurray will lead it off and play shortstop. Batting second will be the center fielder Maurice Bruce. Batting third and playing first base is Matt Warkentin. Batting the cleanup is the designated hitter Tanner Paget. Brant Ollinger bats fifth. He plays third base. Brian Sullivan bats sixth and plays left field. Right fielder Troy Darling bats seventh. Catcher Jake Carstall bat in the eighth slot for the Cavaliers. And Matt Johnson, the second baseman, bats ninth. Tyler LaPlante, a left-handed sophomore, it gets the start for Kent Shelley. So for the Cavaliers, it's McMurray, Bruce Warkentin, Paget, Ollinger, Sullivan, Darling, Karst, Johnson, and Tyler LaPlante on the mound. For the number 3 ranked Blue Dragons, school record 20-game winning streak on the line, 45-11 overall for head coach Ryan Schmidt. Shane Cooper will lead it off and play shortstop. He'll be followed by the second baseman, Michael Hellman. Bobby Morganson bats third and plays left field. In the cleanup spot is center fielder Nolan Hackle. Batting fifth is the first baseman Brady Hoover. Caden Doge bats sixth and plays third base. Batting seventh is the designated hitter Wyatt Divis. Behind the plate is the catcher Scott Wolverton batting eighth, and Julian Ripp gets the start in right field tonight. He bats ninth. Zach Moore, the freshman right-hander, 8-0, gets the start on the mound for Hutchinson. So the Blue Dragons line up like this: Cooper, Hellman, Morganson, Hackle, Hoover, Doge, Divis, Wolverton, Ripp, with Zach Moore on the mound. Danny, you and I get a front row seat for this team every game. Just your impressions of the season, your own impressions.
You know, Carp, they seem to be a very loose group. They get along great on the field and off the field. You and I both have the opportunity to see them on campus almost on a daily basis away from the ballpark. And it's a real close-knit group of guys that most importantly, and it's the case with any game you're going to play, they're having fun. And that fun translates onto the field. into the success they've had. We're second most wins at this point in school history. School record 20-game winning streak that you mentioned. Leading hitter in the country. The two leading hitters in terms of base hits in the history of the Jayhawk Conference. There's just a lot of positive mojo right now surrounding this group of guys.
Freshman Zach Moore taking his warm-up tosses. 6'1", 185-pound freshman from Edmond, Oklahoma. 8-0 record, making his 10th start, 3.54 ERA. He has one shutout in 4 complete games. Moore has tossed 53 in the third innings, pitched 48 hits, 24 runs, 21 earned. He has struck out 42 and walked 15, and opposing batters hitting .233 against. Zach should be fresh. He's only pitched 3 innings since April 9th. He was injured, missed a couple of starts through 3 innings against Pratt, and did not throw last week against Labette. So Zach Moore, a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, a 12-6 curveball, and a changeup. And he faces a Johnson County team that is hitting .332 as a team. They have 59 home runs. Pretty good hitters all up and down this Cavalier order. What's Zach Moore going to have to do to be successful?
Well, most importantly, as you say, any game, it seems pretty basic, but he's going to have to throw strikes and give his fielders a chance to support him in the field. And it, like I said, it sounds elementary, but he's got to let them do the work for him.
Here's Nick McMurray, leading off, left-handed hitter for the Cavaliers, and Zach Moore throws strike one. First pitch coming at 7:11 p.m. Only 11 minutes late. We were 90 minutes late last night, so we're way ahead of the game already.
Well, and with the not the game immediately prior, but the one before that going a little bit long, this one had the makings to be even later than this, with a quick first out recorded by Zach on the bunt attempt.
Good fielding play by Zach Moore on the bunt by Murray. One away for the center fielder, Maurice Bruce. Tremendous speed in Bruce. They want to keep him off the bases. Bruce hitting .342. He has 36 steals in 43 attempts. And Moore misses low, ball 1. Dragons a 7-1 winner yesterday over KCK. Johnson County defeated Dodge City 7-4 in the late game last night. Moore gets a strike at the knees. Your umpires tonight: at third base, Randy Jordan; at first base, Ralph Wolcott; and behind the plate, Sasha Sanguinetti. Moore's pitch, ground ball up the middle, past the diving Shane Cooper for a base hit. So we'll watch that running game. Johnson County this year as a team has stolen 78 bases, but here's just a shocking number. They've been caught 44 times.
Wow.
That's a huge number.
You know, Carp, I don't know. Do they? I think they do play on turf at Johnson County, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's a newer ballpark.
You know, and in that Neosho Cali game immediately prior to this one, we saw 2 instances where what would have been or should have been a routine ground ball turned into an error. One that came back to haunt late in the game that gave Cali an insurance run, but the fielders have to be prepared for the ball skipping more so than bouncing.
Matt Workington, a .342 hitter, 15 home runs, 68 RBIs. Cavaliers 3-hole hitter, and Moore misses high ball 2. Zach Moore, a 3-pitch pitcher, like we said, a fastball that is low 80s to 91. When he's really locked in, his curveball just drops right off the table, a 12-6 hook, as many call it, and then a good changeup. 2-0 pitch is upstairs, 3-0.
Looks like he's tried to go off speed a couple of times and not getting the bite quite yet on that pitch.
Scott Wolverton out to have a quick chat. Scotty, right now, because he's hitting so well, but he's also become a very good receiver of this pitching staff. He's been splitting duties with Garrett Stevens, but Garrett's been battling some injuries, so Scott's been giving a multitude of the playing time over the last month and a half. Moore drops that one in for a strike, and it's 3-1. There's a line drive in the left field for a base hit. Going for third is Bruce. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Taking second is Workington, and the Cavaliers have something cooking early, and kind of signs of last year, Denny.
It is. You know, that first inning last year, the Dragons gave up a 5 spot in the first, but to their credit, held them to that pretty much for the duration of the game before coming back to tie it in the bottom of the ninth. They're not going to be able to give up that kind of a lead again in this. And that base hit was one where you could see Bobby Morganson kind of set back and let the turf play him. And Johnson County, having the experience, knew that and took advantage of it with aggressive base running.
Tanner Paget steps in, hitting .373, 15 home runs, 57 RBIs, and Moore starts high, ball 1. 2 teams have already gone home today. Unfortunately, both of them Jayhawk West teams. Fort Scott defeated Barton by the score of 7-5, and then Dodge City fell to KCK in a 2-run game. So both those teams going home. Hutchinson, the lone remaining Jayhawk West team. That pitch in on the hands, foul back, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, the weight of the West is on the shoulders of the Blue Dragons.
The breakdown this year was 3 Jayhawk West teams, 5 Jayhawk East. And these 2 teams playing right now, the only 2 nationally ranked teams. The pitch. Pulled foul, it's 1-2. Moore, again, he's only thrown 3 innings since April 9th. That came on May 1st. Through 3 innings of scoreless baseball, gave up no hits, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. Ryan Schmidt just wanted to get the rust off of him after that injury. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses away, and it's 2-2 to Paget.
Couldn't ask for a much more beautiful evening than this one, could you, Carp?
Oh, it's gorgeous. 73 degrees, wind out of the south, 10 to 15. Moore looking into Wolverton for the sign. Now comes set out of the stretch. Infield back for the Dragons. Here's the pitch. Outside, full count. His last time out that he pitched more than 3 innings was on April 9th against Dodge City. He got the win in a 6-5 Hutchinson win. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He struck out 4 and walked 3. His high mark for strikeouts this year was 7 against Cloud on March 19th. Here's the payoff pitch. Got him swinging. There's 2 away. He just reared back and challenged Paget up in the zone and won that battle. Now 2-on-2 out for the third baseman, Brant Ollinger. Ollinger, a .332 hitter on the year. 7 home runs, 39 RBIs. Could be a big early momentum swing if the Dragons were to get out of this with no runs scored.
Second and third, 1 out, now to second and third with 2 outs. And you're right, Carp. If they can escape from this, it's going to give them a lot of motivation coming out the bat.
Moore's pitch misses upstairs, ball 1. Sasha Sanguinetti behind the plate, not an umpire with an overly big zone, but very consistent. The pitcher who can navigate that zone will be successful. The 1-0 bounces in, get blocked by Wolverton. Bruce thought about coming down the line, but Scotty got to the ball. And now it's 2-0, and he and Zach Moore will have a chat. Now Ryan Schmidt's going to come out for an early visit. We saw him do this yesterday with Nolan Hoffman, and he locked in and only retired 12 of the final 13 batters he faced.
Need to talk to Nolan about that 13th one then, don't we? I think Coach Schmidt here is just going to go out and try to calm Zach down. You know, you talked how it's been a while since Zach has taken the mound. Obviously a very important game. He's amped up. He wants to support, and he wants to do well for his teammates, and they want to do well for him. But I think Coach Schmidt needs to remind him that there's 8 other guys out there to help him. It's not all on his shoulders, and just throw strikes and let them do their jobs.
And to your point, Danny, one thing I've been mentioning is that Nolan Hoffman's strikeout totals have been coming down, but so has his ERA. He's been pitching more to contact, being much more economical with his pitches, and it seems to be the whole staff has been doing that. And like you said, Zach Moore is probably amped up right now. If he can get out of this one, settle down, he can lock in good. But it's it's just a matter of settling in, getting out of this first inning jam. 2-0 the count to Brad Oliger. Bruce at third, Workington at second. Bruce singled, Workington doubled. The pitch. There's that 12-6 curve for a strike, 2-1. That thing is a pitch of beauty when it's thrown properly and executed, just like you saw right there. Moore checks the runners. Now the 2-1. Fastball just a little bit wide, 3-1. Another thing to note about Sasha Sanguinetti, he's not big on ringing up batters on called thirds unless it's a really good pitch. Just something to keep in mind. This is the first time that the Dragons have seen Sanguinetti behind the plate. In fact, the first time they've seen him all year. Here's the 3-1. Ground ball, hard hit, and it's off the glove of Hellman into shallow center. 1 run scores. Here comes Workington. The throw to the plate is in time. Workington's out at the plate, and that will end the inning.
Perfect example there of the turf, Carp. Not a ball that the Dragons are used to fielding, and it came out hot.
1 run on a couple, or 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We've completed a half inning as Johnson County 1. Hutchinson coming up.
Good, thank you.
Lefty Tyler LaPlante taking his warm-up tosses for the Johnson County Cavaliers. LaPlante, a 6'2", 200-pound sophomore from Blue Springs, Missouri. LaPlante making his 13th overall appearance, 7th start, a 3-2 record with a 3.86 ERA. LaPlante has worked 42 innings, has allowed 40 hits, 25 runs, 18 earned. He has struck out 55 and only walked 15, but has given up 4 home runs. This is a Blue Dragon team, 4th in the nation in home runs with 91. They are hitting .345 as a team. So the Blue Dragons, an interesting notion. We've said this throughout the year. The Blue Dragons tend to hit lefties a little better than right-handed pitching to break down as a team. The Blue Dragons hit .336 against righties, .370 against left-handed pitching, and they've seen a lot of lefties. So that's a pretty good sample size. Shane Cooper to lead it off. The sophomore All-American from O'Fallon, Missouri, stepping in a 5-game hitting streak. Coop hitting .350 with 77 hits, 8 home runs, 49 RBIs. He takes low ball 1. Coop was 1 for 4 yesterday and is 6 for 13 in the postseason. That's 3 games. Pitch down low, 2-0 to Cooper. Coop was 1 for 4 with a walk, couple of runs scored yesterday. LaPlante into the wind, delivers a strike and is 2-1 to Cooper. The winner of this game gets Cowley. They defeated Neosho County 2-0 in their first winners bracket semifinal. Hard hit ball to third, and it's off the glove of Ollinger into shallow left
This could
field.
be a pair, Carp.
Coop's thinking about it. Here he goes. Here comes the throw. Head first dive, and it gets past the shortstop, and he's in safely. That will be, you could almost give 2 errors on that play.
You know, that's because you hate to, because it was a hard hit ball on the turf, but it was right at the third baseman, so you got to give 1 there.
But then the bobble by the shortstop.
I think you're right, and they've put 1 on the board, but I'm with you, Carp. You almost have to think it's 2.
And they are going to put the second error up. So 2 errors on the play puts Cooper, the tying run, at second base with nobody out. And here's the nation's leading hitter in Michael Hellman. Strike 1. Michael hitting .500 for the season, 107 out of 214, 17 home runs, 72 RBIs. He extended his hitting streak to 10 games yesterday by going 1 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. The pitch to Hellman upstairs, and it is 1-1. Hellman in the postseason is 6 for 11, a double, a triple, 4 RBIs. Thanks to Johnson County SID Tyler Cundiff, he got me the career stats put together for the conference. The pitch. Little looper in the left field coming on is Sullivan. It drops in for a hit. Coop will move up to third. Big turn at first by Hellman. He stays put, and the Dragons have him on the corner to start the bottom of the first. That's now an 11-game hitting streak for Michael Hellman with his 108th hit of the season.
Carp, you almost wonder if there aren't a little pregame jitters here, early game jitters. The left fielder for Johnson there, you know, he came in. He couldn't have made that play. He did the right thing, but then trying to get it out of his glove, bobbled it, dropped it. Cooper was going to get to third because it took such a high bounce off the turf.
That hit by Hellman ties him for second all-time on the Jayhawk Conference list with Corey Patton from Seward County. There's a big bending curve into Morganson for strike 1. Bobby in this at-bat has a chance to break a little bit of history. He is right now tied with Caden Doge for the Blue Dragons single-season RBI record with 86. Morganson hitting 3 home runs with 10 homers and 86 driven in. Soft toss over to first. Hellman back in. Hellman the team-high 27 steals. Morganson yesterday, 2 hits and 4 trips, a couple of RBIs. Both those hits singles.
I'm sorry, Carp. Michael's only been caught 4 times this year, so you have to wonder if Coach Schmidt's not going to have something going early.
Bobby 5 of 12 in the postseason. Hellman goes, the pitch is outside, and there's stolen base number 28 for Michael Hellman, and now it's 2 on in scoring position with nobody out for the team's leading RBI man in Bobby Morganson. He steps in with a 1-1 count. The pitch. Right through there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Do want to make one quick welcome to, for me, a very special listener listening in Aurora, Nebraska. My mom, Mary Jane Carpenter. Tomorrow being Mother's Day, she's listening in tonight with my sister, Peg. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday evening. The Dragons are trying to make ours a little bit better as we speak. Cooper at third, Hellman at second. LaPlante steps off, and he's going to have a chat with Jake Cars to try to get on the same page. Shane Cooper reached on an error, then took second on an error by Nick McMurray, the shortstop. A double error on the play. Then Michael Hellman blooped a single in the left field. That moved Cooper up to third. A couple of pitches later, Hellman stole the base. Now it's second and third, nobody out. The infield back for Johnson County. The pitch, just a little bit low, and it's 2-2.
That's one of those 2-strike pitches that a pitcher wants and a coach wants, just barely off the plate. But you touched on it earlier with the home plate ump, Carp, that he's not going to give a lot of those, and he certainly didn't there.
Morganson, one of the big, noticeable lefty versus righty type hitters after the pitch. And one foul off to left and will reach the seats. Bobby Morganson against left-handed pitching this year, hitting .431, only .363 against right-handers. That is one of the most staggering numbers I have ever seen. And I dig into a lot of numbers. 2-2 to Morganson, way high, and it's a full count. to the freshman from Omaha Creighton Prep.
Carp, I'll vouch for the fact you go through a lot of numbers because you handed me 3 reams of paper when I sat down, and I'm still sorting through them. Hopefully by the 8th inning I'll have something productive I can add to the conversation.
Full count to Morganson. Here's the pitch from LaPlante. Called strike 3. Good breaking ball. Big first out for Johnson County, and that'll bring up the center fielder, sophomore Nolan Hackle. Hack with a big triple yesterday that drove in a run. That triple tied Michael Hellman with 5 triples team high. Nolan hitting .351 with 68 hits, 9 home runs, 39 RBIs. Hack was 2 for 4 yesterday with a run and a couple of RBIs. There's a line drive to the left field that is down for a hit. Cooper scores. Here comes Hellman flying around, and the Blue Dragons are going to take the lead on a 2-run single by Nolan Hackle. Nice inside-out swing, took it the other way. Cooper and Hellman both score, and the Dragons break on top for the first time tonight. That's a reversal from last year, Denny Steckline.
Yes, it is. It's kind of comforting and kind of nice to see that. And that 5-0 deficit last year, they had to chip away at that throughout the game, and here they come right back and answer in the bottom of the first.
Here's the old man of the Blue Dragons, Brady Hoover, hitting .325, 12 home runs, 45 driven in. Foul back out of play. It was Brady's 2-run single in the 3rd inning yesterday that broke the ice against KCK. Hoove ended up 2 for 5 with a run and 2 RBIs. Now in 3 postseason games, Hoover hitting 4 for 14. No extra base hits and 3 driven in. The wind in the pitch. Bounces in, and taking second is Hackle. The throw down is wide and into center field. Hackle headed for third. That's going to be the 3rd error of the inning on Johnson County. That'll be a wild pitch and an error. And that's 3 in the E column for the Cavaliers. Good read by Hackle. Not sure the throw was going to get him. But then the throw from Jake Karst wound up in center field. And the Dragons have another runner at third with less than 2 outs and a 1-1 count to Brady Hoover.
Carp, Uncle Brady will probably be the first to point out to you he is not the elder statesman on the team.
High chopper to second. That'll score the run. Johnson throws to first in time, and it's 3-1 Blue Dragons.
Great piece of hitting by Brady to take it to the right side, chop it into the turf, and give his team a 3-1 lead.
That is an unearned run, but the Dragons really don't care at this point. Now base is empty, 2 away for Caden Doge. He had an RBI single in the KCK win yesterday. Good swing from Caden, and he fouls it straight back. Doge stepping in, hitting .299, 10 home runs, 45 RBIs. In the postseason, Doge is 2 for 11 with a couple driven in. That pitch misses. Right now, Caden Doge, and again, I have to thank Johnson County SID Tyler Kendith for putting these numbers together for me. Pitch taken down low. Caden Doge's 41 career home runs is second all time in Jayhawk Conference. He's just 3 home runs away from breaking the conference career record. Pitch taken low, and it's 2-1. Now, we also dug through some numbers in preparation for today. The Blue Dragons now own numbers 1 and 2. That pitch bounces in, and it's a walk to Doge. So the Dragons get a 2-out runner in Caden Doge, and that'll bring up Wyatt Divis. Wyatt saw his 10-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday, but he's still one of the hottest Dragon hitters. As there will be a meeting on the mound with the Cavaliers. Dating back to, let me find my note here, March 18th, Wyatt Divis was hitting .215. In his last 27 games now, Divis is 42 for 78. That's a .558 average. That includes 13 doubles, 6 home runs, 38 RBIs, a .970 slugging percentage, a .652 on-base percentage. It's pretty high hitting.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. You know, Carp, if you had proposed we bet lunch before the season started that he would get that career home run record by this time, having had 31 his freshman season, you'd have been a fool to take that bet because we both would have thought he'd been there by now. He struggled a little bit with his power this year, but he still got 10 home runs, still hitting .300. He's had a very, very solid year.
I made this supposition. He puts more pressure on himself than anybody puts on him. I think that affects his game at times.
No question. I think he wanted to build on that 31 and match it and beat it again this year. And the team has shown that they don't need him to do that. They just need him to hit the ball hard, put the ball in play, and those home runs are going to come when they come.
Tyler LaPlante misses with a slider to Wyatt Divis. 389 average, 9 home runs, 56 RBIs. Divis shoots one foul off to the left. Divis in 3 postseason games, 6 for 13, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Again, his last 6 doubles have gone the other way to the left center field gap. Johnson County plays him straight away toward the middle at all 3 positions. Runner goes. Hit and run was on, and Divis fouls it off. Doge had a great jump.
And Coach Schmidt showing he's going to be aggressive early and try to get as many runs on the board as he can.
Now, you can't sit back against a team like Johnson County. This has been a preeminent team out of the Jayhawk East. They battle with Neosho and Cali every year. 1-2 pitch, curveball, comebacker right to LaPlante. Nice fielding play, underhand flip to first, and the Dragons are done. But a good turn for Hutchinson in the first. 3 runs, 2 hits, 3 Johnson County errors, and 1 left. After 1 inning, here at Lawrence-Dumont, it's Hutchinson 3 and Johnson County 1. Johnson County scores 1 in the top of the first. The Dragons respond with 3. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. And Zach Moore goes to work against Sullivan, Darling, and Karst. 6, 7, and 8 in the Johnson County order.
Carp, the happiest person in Lawrence-Dumont Stadium right now is Blue Dragon Athletic Director Josh Gooch, because the Dragons have a lead while he's here. He's kind of gained the reputation of being the press box jinx at Hobart-Detter Field. We asked him to leave. We did. We asked him to leave one game when we were down 1, bottom of the 7th. He stepped out of the press box, and Wyatt Divis hit a 2-run walk-off to win it.
2-0 to Brian Sullivan, a 4-14 there, a couple of home runs, 37 RBIs. There's a strike from Zach Moore. He gave up minimal damage in the first. The pitch, hard hit ball in the left field past the diving Shane Cooper. That's a leadoff single for the Cavaliers. Their 4th hit of the game so far, and that'll bring up the right fielder Troy Darling.
I hope I'm wrong on this, Carp, but I don't think 3 runs is going to be enough tonight.
I think you're correct. Troy Darling hitting .338 with 46 total hits, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. He has also scored 31 runs, 9 doubles, 3 triples. That one's popped up into shallow right. Back goes Hellman. In comes Julian Rip. Julian makes the call and has it for the first out. Long run for Julian, but that's his ball.
No question. That's a play you don't want your second baseman to have to make that. And we talked about it on that last out of the last inning, but the right side of the infield's got some work to do right now with the sun, and the setting sun is going to make things tricky for them.
Jake Karst, the batter, the catcher, .328 hitter, 3 home runs, 33 RBIs. The Shadows are going from the third base dugout toward right field. There's a strike from Moore, a fastball. The Shadows, right now, Zach Moore is a little bit of a cut. There's the party deck over on the third base side. And then the cut of the sun right at the mound, then it's right into shadow. And that top of the shadow just about ready to reach the first, second base baseline. Curveball stays upstairs. It's 1-1. You see Zach kind of fighting that curveball, and that is a great secondary pitch for him. And in building that 8-0 record, that was a very effective out pitch for Zach. Here's a swing and a miss. Another good fastball. Right now, Zach challenging him up in the zone with the fastball and is winning those battles.
It's good to see he's got the confidence to do that after the long layoff.
He's a competitor. We've seen him pitch out of some jams this year, and to do what he did, you'd have to be a competitor. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. There's 2 away. Second strikeout for Zach Moore. Now it's a runner at first, 2 away for the 9-hole hitter, Matt Johnson. But he's not your ordinary 9-hole hitter. Matt Johnson, let me find him here on my list, hitting .206. But he has been clutch. He kind of hurt the Blue Dragon. There's another Matt Johnson at the Blue Dragons last year. Can't believe they had Matt Johnson's 2 years in a row.
Well, if one worked out well for you, you go back to the well and get you another.
Evidently. Strike one from Zach Moore, who goes back to well and fires another lively fastball over the outer half. Moore out of the stretch, comes set, delivers. There's a bunt popped up. One hopped, fielded by Zach Moore. And what a play by Brady Hoover. The throw right into the runner. And somehow Brady, one-footed, kept it on the bag and made the catch to end the inning. What a play by Uncle. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-1 Blue Dragons. Steve Carpenter, Danny Steckline with you here on the Blue Dragons Sports Network. 3-1 Blue Dragons. Scott Wolverton will step in. It's Wolverton, Rip, and Cooper, 8-9-1 against Tyler LaPlante. He was victimized by 3 errors in that first inning. And Scott Wolverton fouls one off to the right and out of play. Scott Wolverton for the year, hitting .318 with 35 hits, 5 home runs, 25 RBIs. Wolverton was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts yesterday. Pitch outside, a changeup, and it's 1-1. We've been kind of joking with Scott that his bat's cooled off a little bit. Maybe he needs to take another foul ball in the face, which we don't want. But especially after I almost wore one in the press box earlier today.
Mr. and Mrs. Wolverton, if you're listening,
we're just kidding.
Just kidding. Well, I know they're here tonight, so they're probably not listening at the moment. They might watch this later, but that was entirely Steve Carpenter who said that. I would never feel that way.
Here's the 2-2. Wolverton lifts one to right. Drifting back is Troy Darling. Still drifting back, fighting the sun, but he makes the catch for the first out of the Dragons' second. Earlier today, there was a foul ball that came whizzing into the sound room here. And I literally didn't see it until the very last second. And I thought to myself it was kind of ironic because I make this disclaimer before every game, be aware of all flying objects entering the stands. Well, I almost wore one. Swinging a miss to Julian Rip to start this at bat.
And I will vouch for you on that, Carp, because I was sitting in the booth we're in now, which is 2 booths over from where you were sitting. And I heard the crash, and then I walked over there, and the metal cabinet against the back wall's got a pretty sizable dent in it where that baseball ended its flight.
1-1 to Julian, and it's a big breaking ball from LaPlante for a strike, 1-2. Julian Rip getting the start in right field, hitting .316 with 24 hits, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs. He pops one down the right field line, hooking into foul territory, and it lands into the Johnson County bullpen. New life for Julian Rip.
Fair amount of foul territory down the right field line, and even more of it down the left field line. So if a player gets some air under a ball, even if it's foul, there's going to be an opportunity for somebody to make a play. Kind of reminds you of the old Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, doesn't it, Carp?
It does. Breaking pitch from Plant misses high and outside, 2-2 to Rip. This is a very quirky ballpark, which now has a deadline of life. There's only going to be a couple more years here. Rip hits one to center field, pretty well hit. Bruce going back, now coming in as the ball just died. And makes the catch in left center field. There's 2 away. That ball sounded like it was hit way better off the bat than where it ended up.
Yeah, and I think Bruce heard it the way you heard it, because he took several steps back and then had to come in, had plenty of time, but records the out to get us back to the top of the order.
Now Shane Cooper reached on an error, took second on error on the same play, and eventually scored on Nolan Hackle's 2-run single, and he swings through a breaking pitch from LaPlante for strike 1. LaPlante now with 40 pitches through 2 2/3 innings. 1-1. LaPlante seems to be going with the off speed a lot more in this this bottom of the second inning. That fastball is over for a strike at the knees, 1-2.
When I talked to Coach Schmidt before the game, he said Johnson County had a pair of good lefties. One was more of a power pitcher, one was more off speed. He thought we would see the off speed version, which is what we've got.
Brandon Stanek, who's one of the top pitchers in the Jackies, got the win against Dodge City last night. He struggled. 2-2, hit to short. McMurray charges Fields and gets Cooper, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second inning for the Blue Dragons. After 2 here at Lawrence-Dumont, Hutchinson 3, Johnson County 1. Third inning rolls around in this Region 6 tournament winners bracket semifinal. Hutchinson 3, Johnson County 1. The winner gets Cali tomorrow at 4 p.m. The loser will play Fort Scott in an elimination game at 1. That's what's ahead. Many innings to go before we get to that point. Second time around the order for Johnson County. Here's the shortstop, Nick McMurray. He tried to bunt, and Zach Moore threw him out for the first out of the game. Fastball is a strike at the knees from Zach Moore, who throws his 33rd pitch of the evening. 20 have been in the zone. The pitch. Slice foul into the seats, and Zach Moore up in the count, 0-2. I believe that is his first 0-2 count this evening. Maybe Zach getting that rust off, settling in. He has been a tremendous weekend rotation pitcher for Hutch this year. 0-2 pitch. Lifted down the left field line, but it's going to hook foul and will reach the second row of seats. There remains no balls and 2 strikes. In terms of distance, Lawrence-Dumont Stadium is symmetrical. 330 down the lines, 385 to the gaps, and 400 to dead center. But there's nothing symmetrical about this wall here at Lawrence-Dumont. Changeup misses outside, and it's 1-2. There are wells. Right down the line is 330, but it dips off very fast. And you get to the 385, there are wells, kind of like old Yankee Stadium used to have. The pitch. Hard hit ball to the right side. Hellman has it. Moore covering first. Close play, but they get the out. Brady Hoover went to get the ball. That means Moore had to go cover the bag, and he got there in time. The play goes 4-1. One out here in the third.
Nice heads-up play by Zach because Brady figured out pretty quickly he wasn't going to be able to make that play and was kind of in no man's land, and Zach was there to give Michael Hellman a target.
Here's Maurice Bruce. He singled and eventually scored on the play that ended the first inning for the Cavaliers. Moore's pitch, curveball stays high. This hasn't quite gotten that curve down yet. He's had a couple drop in, but more times than not, his breaking pitches stayed upstairs. Fastball over but low, 2-0. That's a tough play for a first baseman going back to the previous play. You got that do or die area. You got to make a decision, but Zach Moore heads up and covered the bag. 2-0 pitches foul back to the screen. Now it's 2-1 strike to Maurice Bruce.
Yeah, Brady did the right thing. You want your first baseman to try to make that play, but on this turf, it got past him quicker than what it would have probably at Hobart Detter Field.
Bonds have been issued to create a new ballpark on this very site. We'll be back here next year, but Region 6 tournament beyond that, a little bit state of flux. That fastball just misses, and it's 3-1 to Bruce. Moore's pitch, and it's a walk with 1 out. And again, Bruce, plenty of speed. He has 36 steals in 43 attempts. Now here's the first baseman, Matt Worthington. Worthington with his 20th double of the year his last time up. But he was the one that got cut down at the plate after the single by Brant Ollinger glanced off the glove of Michael Hellman and trickled into shallow right center field. Hellman threw a strike to Scott Wolverton to get the out. Breaking pitch for Moore is a strike. Moore a couple of strikeouts. 4 hits, 1 run so far. Bruce getting his lead. Moore comes set. Now delivers. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes, the count to Workington. Workington had a couple hits last night against Dodge City. Drove in a couple of runs. Bruce begins to edge that lead out a little bit further. The pitch in the dirt. Gets away from Wolverton, but no advancement by Bruce. He was headed back to the bag.
He was headed back to the bag, and he was not looking and watching the pitch because that got through Scotty's legs and probably rolled 15 feet behind him. Bruce should have not only been at second, he should have been rounding second.
So a break for the Dragons. 1-2 count to Workington. Runner at first, 1 away here in the top of the third, 3-1 Hutch. Moore comes set out of the stretch. Now delivers. Curveball barely foul tipped by Workington, and he stays alive. Well, I've seen Blue Dragon softball represented today. I've seen Blue Dragon soccer represented today. I believe Blue Dragon women's basketball
I believe
is
Blue Dragon. Yes, I do believe it's down there. We've got a little Twitter battle going on with it right now over a foul ball that went over Taylor Staley's head.
1-2 pitch is a swing and a pop up to shallow right. Julian Rip coming in. He's got it for out number 2. That thing was hit a mile high by Workington. But now a runner at first 2 away for the designated hitter, Tanner Paget.
Designated hitter, number 22, Tanner
Paget with 79 hits this year, 14 doubles, 15 home runs, 57 RBIs. Paget struck out his first time up against Moore. Likely to see Bruce in motion sometime in this at bat with 2 out. The pitch. Curveball just misses, ball 1. It was hard getting to the ballpark this morning. They had a marathon right along with Klain. They had to go all the way south of Kellogg to get to the ballpark. Come all the way around back to Seneca. Here's a 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fastball in the inner half. That was a well-located pitch by Moore. Count 1-1. Lights have now turned on here at Lawrence-Dumont. They'll take effect here momentarily. Again, Bruce away from first. The 1-1 pitch is a curveball. Just missed.
Like to see the K zone on that one, Carp.
Indeed. Now the 2-1 from Moore. Swing and a miss on a fastball, 2-2. With that win yesterday, it was only Hutchinson's first opening round, or second opening round win since 2010. The last time they won the Region 6 tournament.
Bruce with an even bigger lead over there at first.
2-2. Fouled off. And it remains 2-2 to the cleanup hitter of the Johnson County Cavaliers.
You know, if there's kids here watching these teams, you saw something on that foul ball that you want every little leaguer to watch. It was well foul off to the right side. But both Brady Hoover and Julian Rip were moving that direction. You teach these kids to react to everything, and that's exactly what these young men were doing and what you want every little leaguer to do.
Moore just misses on a fastball. Now we've gone as far as we can, 3-2, 2 out. We'll definitely see Bruce moving on the pitch. Brady Hoover not holding him. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Line drive to left field. That's down for a hit. Morganson will get it in, keeping Bruce at second base. So it's a 2-out single for Paget. The 5th hit given up by Moore. 2 on, 2 out for the third baseman, Brant Ollinger, who singled his last time up. Hit it hard on the ground to the right of Michael Hellman, who knocked it down. The ball still trickled far enough away to score Bruce, but Workington was then cut down at the plate, trying to score right behind him. That's how the inning ended.
Cavaliers have out-hit the Blue Dragons 5-2, but those 3 first-inning errors on Johnson County definitely the difference as the Dragons lead at 3-1 here in the top of the 3rd.
The pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Hellman ranges to his left field, throws, and the inning is over. So a walk and a single. Zach Moore works around it. 2 left on. We've completed 2.5 here in Wichita. The Dragons 3 and the Cavaliers 1. 2, 3, and 4 in the Dragon third. Hutchinson leads Johnson County 3-1. Steve Carpenter with you along with Denny Steckline. Michael Hellman with his first inning single, now tied for second in the JAG Conference in career hits.
This is where the Dragons got something going in the bottom of the first with Michael coming up and
pitch in the dirt. I think it shook up Jake Karst a little bit. He seemed to be a bit shaken up. I meant single season hits, career hits. There's a line shot left field. And Michael Hellman's 2 for 2. Well, every time that average gets down to 500, Michael gets on another tear. That is now hit number 109, and that puts him into second place on the Jayhawk Conference single season. He moves past Seward County's Corey Patton. The record is 121, in case you're wondering. Now Bobby Morganson steps in. Hellman with the steal in the first inning. Morganson takes a breaking pitch high and in, ball one. Morganson take a call third in his first at bat. He showed you numerous times this season his differential facing lefties and righties. It's a staggering number, almost 80-point difference. Fastball on the outside corner, a strike.
every base hit by Michael tends to will adds to his single season record and career record that he holds for the Blue Dragons.
He's now, I'm going to check that. I think he's 2 or 3 hits shy of 200. Snap throw to first, nothing doing.
He became the first Dragon to reach 100 in single season hits earlier this year.
He's 198, so he's 2 shy. Here's the pitch. Taken low, and it's 2-1 to Morganson.
What do you think, Carp? Does he get there tonight?
Boy, you'd love to see it happen. I mean, I hate making those predictions because they always come back and feel like I jinxed him. Pitch in the dirt. Hellman moves up to second. That's the second wild pitch uncorked by Tyler LaPlante.
Unlike what we saw last half inning with, I think it was Bruce at first base for Johnson County, to where he didn't read that ball in the dirt. As soon as Michael saw that's where it was headed, he was off, because with this turf, you just don't know what kind of, you're going to get a pretty lively bounce coming up against that catcher.
The 3-1 to Bobby is high ball 4, and it's 2 on to start the third inning for Hutchinson.
Got some activity in the Johnson County bullpen.
So there's Nolan Hackle. His 2-run single got the Dragons going. Gave Hutch a 2-1 lead at that point, scoring Cooper and Hellman. Hackle later scored on the RBI ground out by Brady Hoover.
Brennan Lewis starting to get warm in the Cavalier bullpen.
Hackle looks to bunt, takes low, snap throw to second. Hellman heads for third, and it's a stolen base. What a heads-up play by Nolan Hackle. Or excuse me, by
Michael Hellman.
Michael Hellman. You and I have said all year the baseball IQ of that young man from Lincoln Pius X is off the chart.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just to clear up the season hits record, Kevin Arnold of Garden City in 1981 had 121 hits. That is all who stands in front of Michael Hellman in single season hits in Jayhawk Conference history. There's a fly ball to the left. This will be deep enough to score the run. Sullivan still going back, makes the catch. Hellman tags, the throw comes into second, and it's 4-1 Hutchinson as Nolan Hackle drives in his 3rd run of the game. So that base running heads-up play by Hellman gives Hackle an RBI opportunity, and Hutchinson leads it 4-1 now. Runner at first, 1 away for Brady Hoover. Hoove now 3 RBIs here in Wichita. LaPlante's pitch is foul back.
Carp, I'm testing my Salt Hawk baseball memory from the years of Ryan playing there, but I think we've got a couple of Mays guys up here at the plate. Brady for sure, and
Yeah.
Jake Karst is that name sounds like a Mays name to me.
Here's the pitch.
He's from Wichita, so.
Good pitch from LaPlante for a strike, and it's 0-2. All three of Hackle's postseason, or three of Hackle's 5 postseason RBIs. Here's a shot to center field, and it's caught by Bruce. Morganson about 2/3 of the way in return. That ball was hit right on the screws. But it's a loud out. Now it's a runner first 2-out opportunity for Caden Doge, who walked his first time. (4-1) Hutch. They've tacked on a run here in the third. Hutch is the home team. The pitch to Doge. That bounces away, and that'll be the third wild pitch of the game on Tyler LaPlante. So now it is another 2-out opportunity. And here's the number of the Blue Dragons. They have now 19 2-out RBIs in the postseason. That is an incredible number, and that's only 4 games. Kent Shelley headed to the mound.
He's already made the call, Carp.
We're going to have a pitching change, and we will tell you about the new Cavalier pitcher right after this break. Brennan Lewis, a sophomore right-hander, comes out of the pen for Johnson County head coach Kent Shelley. Lewis is a 6'3", 210-pound sophomore from Kansas City, Missouri. He's making his 16th overall appearance. He's made 9 starts, 3-2 with 2 saves and a 4.70 ERA. Lewis has thrown 53 2/3 innings, pitched 65 hits, 36 runs, 28 earned. He has struck out 52 and walked 13, a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Very impressive, as is many of these Johnson County pitchers. Lewis comes in with a runner at second base and 2 out. Caden Doge, the batter. The Dragons leading by the score of 4-1. They've tacked on 1 more here. And before the break, we were talking about 18 2-out RBIs so far in 4 postseason games. They made a living against Labette with 2 out. So we'll see if Caden Doge can keep that trend going. Morganson at second. Here's the pitch. Strike at the belt.
You know, Carp, that pitching change was a little unusual in the fact that it was in the midst of a count. It was a 1-0 count. But as soon as that ball was in the dirt and picked up by the catcher, Kent Shelley was hopping out of the dugout, so he had seen enough.
Now the 1-1. Outside for a ball, 2-1. Doge, for all of his strikeouts, he's also walked 35 times this year. And not that many this year have been intentional. He had a ton of intentional walks as a freshman, 35 walks this year. And I believe only 3 have been intentional. Here's a 2-1 in the dirt. Nice stop by Jake Karst. Now Doge has a 3-1 advantage in the count. He can be very selective here.
Caden showed something there that we've seen more and more of this year, laying off those pitches that are down and away. That was kind of his Achilles heel last year, but he's really become more disciplined.
3-1, hit well down the left field line. This is going to be a fair ball and into the corner. Morganson will score to make it 5-1. It's a 2-out RBI double for Caden Doge. His 20th two-bagger of the year, RBI 46, and the Dragons lead at 5-1. Another, the 19th two-out RBI of this postseason for the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. Now Wyatt Divis, looking for his first hit of Wichita, has a two-out RBI opportunity. The Blue Dragons with 2 out coming into the game, hitting .338 with 195 two-out RBIs. Add another one to that total. The pitch to Div. Outside ball 1. Divis 0 for 5 in Wichita. He was hitting over 400 until yesterday's 0 for 4. That broke a 10-game hitting streak. Div lifts one to left field, pretty well hit. Sullivan going back, still going back, deep. And it is high off the wall. Doge scores to make it 6-1. Another 2-out RBI, and the Dragons have a 5-run lead.
Carp, I could tell by the way you called that. You and I both thought that was just a high fly ball to left, and as you watch the left fielder, he kept going back, back, back. It short hops the wall, takes a big hop, and Dragons now lead 6-1.
Make that 22-out RBIs in the postseason. That's an average of 5 a game. And the old saying goes, 2-out RBIs win you championships. That bodes well for Hutchinson. Here's Scotty Wolverton. He hits with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Hits are now tied 5 apiece. Changeup swung through and missed by Wolverton. This inning started with a Hellman single. Morganson walked. Nolan Hackle had a sac fly. Brady Hoover lined out. Then Doge doubled to drive in a run. Wyatt Divis doubled to drive in a run. 3 runs in the inning. Their second 3-run inning of the game. Breaking pitch misses low, and it's 1-1 to Wolverton.
You know, I hate to call Brady's out the only unproductive one of the inning, but that's really what it was. But it was probably the hardest hit.
Yes, it was. Here's the pitch. Way outside. Lewis nearly fell down on the mound throwing that pitch.
Lost his footing. And, you know, before the game, before the Dragons came to bat in the bottom of the first, LaPlante did the very same thing as part of his warm-up pitches.
2-1 the count to Scotty Wolverton. Here's the pitch. Over but low, 3-1. Wolverton can extend the inning. It'll be Julian Ripp. Six runs, 5 hits for the Dragons. 1 run, 5 hits, 3 errors for Johnson County. The pitch. Outside, ball 4. That is now 3 straight Dragons to reach since the second out was recorded. And now right fielder Julian Ripp steps in. Flew out to left field his first time. Ripp's had some big hits this year late in the season. The transfer from San Jacinto North.
Right fielder, number 38, Julian Ripp.
Him transferring in really allowed Ryan Schmidt to do gave him some depth in the outfield, which had allowed him to shift around the lineup more to what I think his liking was. Here's the pitch. Fastball for a strike inside corner. Divis at second, Wolverton at first. Not what you would call fleet-footed runners on the bases.
But we've got a fleet-footed guy at the plate, Carp. What do you think about, well, never mind, it's 0-2, but third baseman is very deep, and I thought, you know, we've got the Flying Dutchman at the plate, so why don't we put one down and just really put some pressure on Johnson County? They've already committed 3 errors.
That'd have been an interesting play with a right-hander falling toward first. Here's the 0-2 to Ripp. Got him swinging on a slider, and that's the inning. But another tremendous turn for the Dragons. 3 runs on 3 hits. There were 2 left on. We've completed 3 innings here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium in the second winners bracket semifinal of the Region 6 tournament. Our new score, the Blue Dragons 6 and the Cavaliers 1. 3-run first and a 3-run third have Zach Moore stake to a 6-1 lead through 3 innings over Johnson County. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Thank you for joining us tonight, and for those Johnson County fans logged on our stream, we appreciate you joining us as well. First pitch of the 4th inning to Brian Sullivan is down in the dirt, ball 1. Sullivan singled his first time up and stayed at first. Moore's pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Last thing you want to do, stay to a 5-run lead, start walking the leadoff batter. Saw Nolan Hoffman throw a gem here yesterday. 4-hit complete game. There's a strike. Hoff only had 6 strikeouts yesterday. And again, he's the career strikeout leader in Blue Dragon history. But his strikeouts over the last 4 games have really dropped because he's pitching more to contact, using his fastball more. That pitch misses a little bit low, and it's 3-1.
And talking to Coach Ryan Schmidt before the game, he thought what Nolan did yesterday was probably his best outing of the season.
My thoughts exactly. I thought it was too. 3-1 pitch. Hard hit ball into center field. It's another leadoff single for Sullivan. The 6th Cavalier hit of the game. And now the Cavaliers have had the leadoff man aboard in 2 of 4 innings. Here's Troy Darling, the right fielder. Flew out to right his first time up. Still early enough for the Cavaliers to play small ball to try to chip away. We only played in the top of the 4th.
You know, the Dragons need to remember, and those sophomores and those veterans especially, we were down 5 last year against this team and came back and tied it. There's nothing that says they can't do the same to us.
First pitch from Moore just misses. Now it's 2-0 to Darling. So an inauspicious start here in the 4th for Zach Moore. Been behind both hitters. Dragons play the batter to pull. Now it's 3-0. Might require another trip from head coach Ryan Schmidt. Here's the cripple from Zach. And their first strike. 64 pitches for Zach Moore, 36 for strikes. Ground ball into center field. It's back-to-back singles to start the 4th for Johnson County. That's what happens when you get behind hitters. You have to come flush to batters. And this Johnson County team, tremendous offensive team. They put up some huge run numbers this year. They have 2 on to start the 4th. Now 7 hits against Zach Moore. That'll bring up the catcher, Jake Karst. Karst struck out swinging against Zach Moore his first time up. Moore's now allowed 1 run, 7 hits, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 65 total pitches.
With the 8 and 9 hole hitters coming up, Zach's going to get, quite a bit of latitude to work through this, but Will Irvin has just made the trot down to the Blue Dragon bullpen. So Swervin' Irvin's going to start getting loose just in case. Coach Schmidt knows this is not something you want to let anything start to slip away.
Jake Carr's foul tips one into the glove of Scott Wolverton. Interesting hacking on the first pitch is with Moore kind of struggling with his command. Zach checks the runner at second. Curveball, ground ball to Doge. He goes to second for 1. Hellman on to first. That's a double play. What a play. Good turn by Hellman, but a tremendous stop by Doge, who kind of struggled yesterday defensively with 3 errors. Now it's a runner at third, 2 away for the 9-hole hitter in Matt Johnson.
Carp, I almost questioned Caden there because he was going to his left to field it. The runner's coming from second to third, and you think he could cut down this lead guy. But if he'd made that play, that lead guy's the only guy he would have gotten. And really heads up, smart play by Caden there to turn 2. He knew the catcher was running, so he had a good chance to get it around the horn and make the play.
0-1 now to Johnson. The pitch, a curveball stays high. 1-1 the count. Johnson bunted back to Zach Moore, and that was the play where Brady Hoover kind of had to pirouette, make the catch, and keep the foot on the bag at the same time. Swing and a miss, and now Moore is one strike away from getting out of a fourth inning jam. Six-one Hutch, top of the fourth. Runner at third, 2 away. 1-2 pitch, upstairs, 2-2. Scoreboard shows 3-1. We've got 2-2 as Sasha Sanguinetti signals. Here's a pitch. Lifted to left field. Morganson coming in. He's got it, and the inning is over. Nice job by the Dragons, turning their 32nd double play of the season. No runs, a couple of hits, and one left on. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 6-1 Hutchinson. The Blue Dragons trying to reach their first winner's bracket final since 2005. I'll explain that in just a minute as Shane Cooper leads off the bottom of the fourth. That's the top of the order for relief pitcher Brennan Lewis. Hutchinson with a 6-1 lead, excuse me. Shane 1 for 2, reached on an error and scored, then grounded out to short. Coop swings and misses on that off-speed offering, and it's 0-1. In 2010, when the Blue Dragons won the Region 6 tournament, it was not in this particular format. The pitch. High pop in the shallow center. And it's the second baseman, Matt Johnson, making the catch, one away. Cooper 0 for 2. It was a 4-team tournament. Yes, they were in the winner's bracket final.
Second baseman, number 1, Michael Helman.
But in an 8-team tournament, the Blue Dragons have not been to the winner's bracket final since 2005 when they won it for the first time in 30 years, and Michael Helman takes ball one inside. So that's a differentiation. For 3 years, in 2010, 11, and 12, Region 6, Helman swings on a pitch inside and fouls it off, and it's 1-1. 2010, 11, and 12, there were 4-team sub-regionals, and those 4 winners came to Wichita, played a 4-team double elimination. That winner went on to Grand Junction. Since 2004, though, besides those 3 years, pitched to Hellman's a slider outside, 2-1 of the Dragons' second baseman. It's been 8 best-of-3 series at home sites, and those 8 winners come here. Hellman lifts one high to left field. Going back is Sullivan. He's just short of the track and makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Hellman retired for the first time tonight. He's 2 for 3, and now Bobby Morganson. He was struck out looking, walked, and scored. Scored on Caden Doge's double, which made it, at that point, 5-1. Then Divis drove in Doge with the 6th run. Outside ball 1. This tournament has, in the 23 years that I've lived in Hutch, this is the 5th different format they've used.
Oh, wow.
Pitch pulled foul. This is still my favorite. Oh, the 4-team sub-regionals and the 4 winners here, that wasn't a bad format either. It was less time here in Wichita. But one of the reasons they went back to the 8 teams here was more visibility for more players by coaches. Pitch outside to Morganson. It's 2-1.
Carp, the only thing that puzzles me about the present format, and you know far more about it, you've forgotten far more about any of these than I'll ever know, is that you're seeded for the first round, but then seeds go away and everything's a coin flip.
Morganson will fly out to center field, and the Dragons go in order. We'll get back to Denny's Point when we return. After 4 innings in Wichita, it's Hutchinson 6 and Johnson County 1. On to the 5th inning here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium in Wichita. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. 6-1 Hutch. Top of the order to face Zach Moore. 3rd time around the order for the Moore, who's given up 7 hits and 1 run through his first 4. McMurray 0 for 2. And that pitch bounces in. On 73rd pitch. Before the break, Denny Steckline was asking me why the seedings disappear basically after the tournament is seeded after the first round. Moore's pitch is low ball 2, and Moore working behind hitters now very consistently. And Scott Wolverton goes out as Will Irvin begins throwing again. The reason, and let me preface this, the last 2 years, the home team was decided strictly by seed here at the Region 6 tournament. But that is not how they do it in Grand Junction. The regional tournaments, the district tournaments are trying to pattern themselves exactly how they do it in Grand Junction. Now it's 3-0 to McMurray, and that's a dangerous man to put on base. The top 2 hitters in the Johnson County order are very dangerous, very fast. But at Grand Junction, which is pre-seeded like the JUCO basketball tournament used to be before they seeded, it's a 4-pitch walk to start the 5th. And as we've seen over the last month, leadoff walks are scoring at about a 75% clip. But anyway, back to the seeding as Maurice Bruce steps in. The seedings are everything in Grand Junction. Home teams are decided all by coin flip, no seeding. That is something that the Ryan Schmidt's going to come out and talk to the entire infield. But in Grand Junction, home teams are decided by the coin flip, and run rules are changed. It's 10 after 7, 8 after, 10 after 5, 8 after 7 in Grand Junction, which is put in place to keep the tournament moving. Those run rules are in place here as well.
Right.
So they're trying to pattern the districts and the regional tournaments after what they do in Grand Junction. And it's in the regional manuals, and that's what the region has decided to go to. But there was a lot of talk on Thursday night about this very subject, and it was it wasn't the most popular move by the regional coaches that they do this, but in compliance with what the NJCA wants everybody to do as you get to Grand Junction.
Yeah, and I posed the question because, look at this game, for instance. We've got the number 3 team in the country with Hutch, the number 14 team in the country with Johnson County. And Hutch is the home team here. They won the coin flip, but these teams could be playing teams that are not even ranked, and by losing the coin flip, become the visitor. And don't have, in a sense, that home field advantage that you would think a high seed would.
Maurice Bruce has been on base twice, scored once, singled and walked, and that's 5 straight out of the zone by Zach Moore to start the 5th inning. The pitch, swing and a miss. Now it's 1-1.
Bruce has 7 sacrifices on the season. You thought he might be inclined to do that. Caden Doge is up even with the bag at third, but has not shown the bunt to this point in the AB.
Safely to over first by McMurray. Moore's pitch, swing and a miss. That was a nasty fastball. McMurray went down to one knee on that swing. Now Moore has the advantage of the count at 1-2. Quite honestly, right now, Zach Moore just needs to stay with the fastball. Doesn't have real good command with the curve or the change. And he's challenge hitters in 1. Here's the pitch. Way outside, 2-2. Snap throw to first. And the way this tournament has transpired, don't take base running for granted. We have seen numerous runners from several teams overslide bases, some by the turf because they're not used to sliding on the turf, but just mental mistakes, getting caught off base. The pitch, foul back into the stands. We saw Neosho County in the game before basically run themselves out of a rally. That error by the Cali shortstop turned into a throw behind the runner at third, and they got him for the final out of the inning.
Yeah, they were looking at first and third with 2 outs, and
here's a 2-2. Fouled off out of play again.
The Neosho runner thought the shortstop, he didn't know he bobbled it, so he assumed he fielded it and was going to first with it, so he made a turn and looked towards first and then realized there was no ball heading that direction, and it came in behind him for the third out to kill their rally.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count to Bruce. Now time called by Bruce and is granted. Barton was absolutely atrocious on the bases over their 2 days. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Cooper has it. Flips to Hellman for 1. On to first. That's a double play. Their second of the game. Blue Dragon fans roar with approval. Third double play turned here in Wichita. So wipe out the leadoff walk. Bases empty, 2 away for the first baseman, Matt Warrington. A double and a fly out, 1 for 2. Well, that's just what the doctor ordered.
That was a turf-aided double play because Bruce moves extremely well. He hit that sharply to Cooper, and it was just tailor-made to turn that thing quickly, and that's exactly what Cooper, Hellman, and Hoover did.
Strike 1 to Workington. Another well-located fastball. Breaking pitch just misses wide. You've got to throw the curve a little to keep the Johnson County batters honest. But right now, again, Zach's only thrown 3 innings since the middle of April. Fouled at the plate. And it's 1-2 to Workington. That might eclipse Scott Wolverton. Sasha Sanguinetti's going to give Scotty a moment to collect himself. That's one of the neat things about how the home plate umpires and catchers will work together. When the catcher gets dinged, the home plate umpire will literally walk the new foul ball out to the pitcher, giving the catcher time, and vice versa. And if you do that as a catcher, when the umpire gets popped, it creates a nice little bond between the two.
Catcher better show that courtesy to the home plate umpire because the home plate umpire might feel it was the catcher should have prevented that damage from coming back to him.
Curveball stays high now. It's 2-2 to Workington. Outfield straight away and deep for the Dragons. 2-2 pitch. They checked down, and Workington checked his swing. Full count. I didn't think he pulled the trigger. That was a good call.
I didn't either, but I'm looking at some of the Blue Dragon faithful, and they're disagreeing, but that was the right call. He checked it.
3-2, 2 out, bases empty, top of the 5th. The pitch. Hot shot up the middle and through for the 8th hit of the game against Zach Moore. Of the 8 hits allowed, only 1 has been for extra bases, and the Dragons have erased a couple of them on double plays. Now designated hitter Tanner Paget, 1 for 2, a strikeout and a 2-out single in the 3rd.
If you told someone the Cavs had out-hit the Blue Dragons 8-5 and were in the top of the 5th, you would not guess that the Cavs were trailing 6-1.
Moore takes a look at first, the pitch. Curveball over but low for ball 1. If this score stands, you're going to have to go back to that very top of the 1st inning when Matt Workington was thrown out at the plate by Michael Hellman as a potential turning point in this game. The Dragons then responded with 3 in the bottom of the 1st and now lead at 6-1. Fastball for a strike at the knees, and it's 1-1 to Paget.
And those 3 in the bottom of the 1st came courtesy of 3 Cavalier errors that have proven to be the turning point to this point.
2 of the 3 runs in the 1st unearned. Hard hit ball in the left field. That's a base hit. How big is that double play now? 2 straight 2-out singles. And right now, I think if Ryan Schmidt could get Zach Moore through 5 without any more damage, he'd be thrilled. Brad Ollinger, the 3rd baseman, 1 for 2, an RBI single in the 1st, and then grounded out to Michael Hellman on a ranging play to his left to end the 3rd. Now 9 hits allowed by Zach Moore.
Schmidt's on the 2nd step, keeping an eye on things, talking to pitching coach Scott Reller.
Pitch high for ball 1, another breaking pitch. Now ball 2 on a pitch low. So potential 2-out problems for the Dragons here. Johnson County has stranded 5 in their first 4 at bats. Will Irvin should be ready in the pen. Zach Moore might be facing his last batter one way or another. Ball 3 low.
Schmidt's moved up a step, so I think you might be onto something there, Carp. He's looks like he's getting a little closer to pulling the trigger if Zach cannot work through this hitter.
Moore now at 95 pitches, 52 for strikes. Here's the cripple. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded, and all this has come with 2 out. The inning started with a leadoff walk to Nick McMurray, but then Bruce grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Workington single, Paget singled, and now Ollinger walks. And left fielder Brian Sullivan will not face Zach Moore, as Will Irvin is already headed in from the left field bullpen. Dragons are going to make a pitching change. Bases loaded, 2 outs for the Cavaliers in the top of the 5th. We'll tell you about the new Dragon pitcher right after this break. Out of Junction City, Will Irving comes in to try to shut the door down on the Cavaliers here in the top of the fifth. Hutchinson leads at 6-1, but Johnson County has the bases loaded with 2 outs. Will Irvin, a 5'10", 170-pound redshirt sophomore from Junction City, making his 10th appearance, 9th in relief, 2-0 with a 7.62 earned run average. Irvin's thrown 13 innings, 17 hits allowed, 12 runs, 11 earned. He struck out 7 and walked 9. And opponents hitting .327 against. He has battled back from arm problems and has pitched much better in the last few weeks. So he comes in with the bases loaded, 2 out here in the top of the fifth. Hutchinson leading 6-1, and he will face left fielder Brian Sullivan. And the first pitch is low, ball 1. No room for a walk. They'll force in a run. Zach Moore could go 4 2/3 innings. The pitch. Ball 2. So things getting tight here. It's still a 5-run lead. But the tying run now in the on-deck circle. 2-0 pitch from Irvin. Outside, ball 3. Against Pratt, Will Irvin had a 4-inning outing. He got the win against Pratt. It was absolutely magnificent. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. Irvin, kind of a quirky motion, kind of slings it from a 3/4 arm slot.
He seems to have dropped his arm slot a little bit this year, Carp.
Ground ball to Coop. He's got it. Goes to the bag, and he's safe. A run will score. And that was a bang-bang play. Coop kind of got caught between decisions. That'll be a fielder's choice, and a run scored. So it's just a fielder's choice for Sullivan, but Workington scores to make it 6-2.
You could see Coop looking at Hellman and wasn't sure if he was going to flip it or take it. His momentum was taking him to the bag. He may have eased up a little bit thinking he was going to flip it, and runner beat him by just a half a step.
A big cut and a miss, or cut and a foul ball by Troy Darling. Darling's 1 for 2. So now the tying run at the plate. Irvin's pitch, foul tipped, and there's nothing in 2.
Now's a chance for Scotty to return the favor. That one was off the foot of the home plate umpire.
This game's in the hands of the Dragon bullpen. Gage Burns now tossing in the bullpen. Because Zach Moore didn't go the required 5, Will Irvin now the pitcher of record. 0-2 pitch. Slider misses 1 and 2. Bases loaded, 1 already across, 2 away. Here's the pitch. Pulled foul. Mind you, all this has happened with 2 out. We've talked about the 2-out magic of the Blue Dragons throughout this postseason. Johnson County trying to do the same to Hutch here in the top of the 5th. Padgett at third, Ollinger at second, Sullivan at first. 1-2 pitch, misses high, a little bit tight, and it's 2-2. The bullpen probably Ryan Schmidt's biggest worry heading into this 2017 postseason. 2-2 pitch, full count. 3-2, 2 out. The runners are going to go on the pitch. So now it's Irvin to Darling. He comes set, the runners go, the payoff pitch way outside, ball 4, and it's 6-3. A bases loaded walk. And Will just flat overthrew that pitch and tossed it right in the dirt.
And you've touched on it, Carp. All of this coming with 2 outs, and which certainly is not going to make the Blue Dragon dugout happy, but they've at least got to take a little bit of satisfaction knowing what could have been with the 2 leadoff batters getting on for Johnson County and then being erased on the double play.
Jake Karsh takes a strike from Irvin. Karsh grounded into one of the 2 Dragon double plays that have been turned tonight. The pitch. Low for a ball, 1-1. It's almost like Will's trying to be too fine.
Gage Burns now getting loosened up in the Blue Dragon bullpen, and David Tudhope has also made his way down there.
1-0. Hard hit ball. That's fair inside the corner, and that'll score at least 2. Morganson will hustle it back in, and it's a 2-run double, and this is a 1-run game. A 2-run double by Karsh just inside the bag at third. Ollinger and Sullivan both score. And it is a 4-run inning, all with 2 outs. It's now Hutchinson 6, Johnson County 5, and Ryan Schmidt is headed back to the mound, and the call has been made for Gage Burns. We'll tell you about his numbers right after this break. Gage Burns on to trying to close off this big Johnson County inning, a 4-run inning, all coming with 2 outs. Since that 6-4-3 double play hit by Maurice Bruce, 6 straight of reach 4 have scored. And now Gage Burns tries to come to slam the door. Burns, a 6'1", 180-pound freshman from Stonewall, Oklahoma. Burns making his 14th appearance, 1-0 with an 11.2 ERA. 13 2/3 innings pitched, 22 hits, 18 runs, 17 earned. He struck out 7 and walked 7, and opponents hitting .361 against. So you can close the book now on Zach Moore. Moore goes 4 2/3 innings, allows 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 96 pitches. Will Irvin does not record an out, and still the runners at second and third are his responsibility. 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk. So now it's Burns against 9-hole hitter Matt Johnson, the second baseman. Johnson 0 for 2. He swings and fouls 1 off. Dragons led 6-1 coming into the inning. Johnson County has made it a 1-run game. Here's the pitch. Been there for a strike, 0-2. If it comes down to it, the Dragons do have the final at bat. Here's the pitch. Just off the plate, wide, didn't miss by much.
It's another one of those. We saw one earlier to the in favor of the Blue Dragons that it's that pitch that's off the plate, but every pitcher and every coach wants it for their pitcher, but they're not getting them tonight.
And Sasha Sanguinetti very consistent in that call. Now 1-2. Johnson showing bunt. Now pulls back, fouls one back to the matting, and it stays 1-2.
Yeah, the key word you mentioned is consistency, Carp. As long as Sasha's either giving it to both sides or not giving it to both sides, nobody's got a complaint.
Johnson County dugout whooping it up, rightfully so. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Burns. Ball 2. Another close pitch. Dragon fans barking.
A lot of whooping on both sides. It's just got two different tones to it.
So from 0-2 to 2-2. Again, Johnson showing bunt. He's going to pull back, or he's not going to drop one back.
Yeah, I think he's just putting that up there to give Burnsy something to look at as a distraction.
Line to center field, and it's down for a hit. And it hops over the head of Hackle all the way to the wall. 2-run score. Johnson flying around third. They are going to wave him. Here comes the throw from Hellman, and it is not in time. It's an inside the park home run, and Johnson County leads it by the score of 8-6. An inside the park grand slam. That ball jumped over Nolan Hackle, had a lot of hops to it. A 3-run inside the park homer. And Johnson County leads it. It's a 7-run inning. They've got the scoreboard wrong. It's 8-6. Ground ball to second. Hellman gobbles it up and throws. Low throw dug up by Hoover, and the inning is finally over. 7 runs come across in the inning.
All with two outs.
All with 2 outs. We're halfway home, and it is 7-5. Or excuse me, 8-6. Hutchinson trails Johnson County. It should be 8-6.
Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Steve Carpenter has run over to the official scores box to make a correction. He had called that one an inside the park grand slam. It was actually an inside the park 3-run homer. Nolan Hackle leading things off for the Blue Dragons here in the bottom of the 5th. Johnson County now leading at 8-6 after that 7-run inning. All of them coming with 2 outs. Hackle's 1-1 with the count. They show 1-0 on the scoreboard. Nolan with a single in the first, sacrifice fly in the third. Wraps this one to the second baseman, takes it on the 1 hop, records the first out of the inning.
Well, it's kind of gut check time for the Blue Dragons. Try to recover from that 7-run inning. We've been exalting the virtues of the Blue Dragons at 2 out, and then they get 7 hit against them in the top of the 5th. 10 runners came to the plate, 7 scored. Now Brady Hoover, he swings and misses at the first offering. Brady 0 for 2, an RBI ground out in the first, and a line out to center field. Here's the pitch, inside for a ball. 1-1 to Hoove.
Probably one of the most drastic momentum changes in that inning too, Carp, with Johnson got the first 2 runners on, and then the Dragons turned that critical double play to get 2 outs and nobody on, and then a couple of base hits, and you start to just sense something could happen, and it certainly did.
Slider in for a strike from Brendan Lewis, and it's 2-2 now to Brady Hoover. Dragons now trail 8-6. They've been out hit 11-5. Inside, full count to now to Hoove. 34 pitches, 17 strikes for Lewis, who came in the 3rd inning.
We're only halfway home. A lot of baseball to be played yet. And
Hoove hits one high to left field. Going back is Sullivan. He's at the track and makes the catch. 2 away. I think it was at a mile high. 2 up, 2 down for Caden Doge.
Still a pretty good breeze blowing out to left, and it got up into that a little bit and gave it some carry. One thing that works in the Dragons' favor is they are not unfamiliar with being down this year.
that is so true. Blue Dragons have, I don't have the count with me, but numerous comebacks this season. Doge swings and misses. Pretty good fastball from Lewis. Tyler LaPlante worked the first 2 2/3, and Kent Shelley went and got him. There's a strike, and it's 0-2. The pitch. Driven high and deep to center field. Bruce going back at the track, reaches up and makes the catch, hits the wall and goes down. And it turns out to be a very noisy 1-2-3 inning.
Which would have been a Hobart Detter home run.
Yes, it would have. So the Dragons go in order in the 5th. After 5, it's Johnson County 8 and the Dragons 6. Big inning for the Dragons defensively. After Johnson County hung a 5 spot in the top of the 7th, all with 2 out, the Dragons had a very noisy 1-2-3 5th inning. But now Gage Burns needs to slow the momentum of the Cavaliers. They sent 10 to the plate, scored 7, all with 2 outs. And when you look at that inning, 3 of those 10 batters walked, and 2 of the 3 scored. There was a momentary delay. I'm not 100% sure why.
No, we had a lot of the Cavaliers were outside of the dugout. And I'm not sure what was going on over there.
It is a rule that you're supposed to be inside the confines of the dugout, and I think Sasha Sanguinetti may have chased them back in.
They're looking at something against the back wall of the dugout. There's a bunch of them gathered around down there.
Sasha Sanguinetti also over there.
He's got his little notebook out, and he's writing something down.
Kent Shelley's coming out to confer. We'll see if we can't get some clarification on this. I'll try to get hold of Mark Patrick from the conference to find out what's going on.
Appears we had something officially being noted. We just don't know what.
Maybe that little delay works in the favor of the Blue Dragons. They are going to have a pinch hitter. Deontay Lowry is going to pinch hit for
Bruce. And, you know, he may have injured himself when he made that catch of Caden Doge's long flyout to end the fifth.
That could very well be the case. So Bruce being pinch hit for. And Deontay Lowry out of Lawrence, Kansas, a fresh first pitch swings and fouls it off.
I was hoping that would be foul because that was reminiscent of a Willie Wilson infield single.
So Lowry, looking for his numbers here, fouls that one off. 316 hitter for Lowry. Home run, 31 RBIs, 385 on base percentage. He's played in 58 games. He's had 158 at bats, so plenty of action. Here's the 0-2 from Burns. Called strike three. That is the first punch out of the game for either side. Earlier today, we saw a game where there were 5 consecutive called thirds. That came in the Barton-Fort Scott game. Here's Matt Workington, the first baseman. So we hope center fielder Maurice Bruce is okay. He did hit that wall hard, and quite likely Denny's onto something. But we do not want to, fully make conjecture of what's going on down there. We're going to try to get some information from the conference. There's Matt Workington. And Burns delivers low and outside, ball one. Workington doubled in the first, flew out to right in the third, and then started that fifth inning mess with a 2-out, 2-strike single. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1. 68 degrees at the 9:04 mark here in Wichita, and this is the last game of the day. Two teams have gone home. Unfortunately, they're both Jayhawk West teams. Swing and a miss on a changeup from Burns, and it's 1-2. One-two pitch. Lifted to center field. Hackle on the run toward the gap, and it gets over his head and will bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. 1-2 pitch, just a little too fat.
Workington now 3 for 4 tonight with a pair of doubles.
Workington with his 21st double of the year. Now it's 1 on, 1 out for the designated hitter, Tanner Paget. Paget 2 for 3. Struck out in the first on a pair of singles. He scored 1. Dragons have been out hit now 12-5. The pitch. The line to right, shot right field. Let's watch Workington. He will be held as Rip gets it in quickly. It's runners at the corners, 1 out. Knew this was going to be a big inning for the Dragons to try to squelch this Johnson County momentum. David Tudhope
Third baseman, number 28, Brant Ollinger.
is throwing. Brant Ollinger steps in. Ollinger 1 for 2 with the walk and a run scored, also an RBI. Dragons have turned 2. Ryan Schmidt's going to come to the mound. And we'll see what Schmidt wants to do. Dragons.
Tudhope thinks he's getting the call because he's already started to make the trip, but I haven't seen anything official yet.
Well, Tuddy's now put the brakes on.
Put it in reverse.
6-1 Hutch. And we all kind of knew going into the postseason that the one question mark would be the middle relief. Schmidt is going to go to the bullpen for Tudhope, who's been a starter all season long, and it's going to be his task to keep this at a 2-run deficit as Gage Burns' night's done. We will tell you about Tuddy right after this break. David Tudhope, the left-hander, comes out of the pen. 6 foot, 180-pound sophomore from Overland Park. Tuddy making his fourth relief appearance of the year, 15th appearance overall. 5-1 with the 4.73 earned run average. 2 complete games, 2 shutouts, and part of a third shutout. Tudhope's worked 59 innings, given up 67 hits, 35 runs, 31 earned. He has struck out 52 and walked 28. And opponents hitting .298 against. Tuddy comes into this one with Hutchinson trailing Johnson County 8-6 here in the top of the 6th. And the Cavaliers, after scoring 7 in the top of the 5th, now have runners at first and third with only 1 out, and Brant Ollinger, the batter. Zach Moore started. Will Irvin came into relief after Moore could only go 4 2/3 innings. Irvin couldn't retire a batter. Gage Burns came in to shut down the 7-run 5th, but now he's allowed a couple of hits here in the 6th, and now Tudhope has the task of keeping this at a 2-run deficit for the Blue Dragons. Pickoff throw to first. Tuddy with a team-high 7 pickoffs. Hutchinson has picked 13 runners off this year. Tudhope with 7, Junker with 2, Hoffman with 1, Will Irvin with 1, Jaden Simmons with 1. And then Garrett Stevens from behind the plate has picked off a runner. Another throw. They might have had him if it was a better throw, but a great stop by Brady Hoover. That saved a run.
No question he's out if that throw's on target, but Brady saved at least 1 run. With all that foul territory, you never know where that ball would have ended up.
Big moment in this one. Dragons trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit. They will have the last at bat. Here's the pitch. High pop. And in shallow right field, Michael Hummenbach still drifting. Makes the catch barely. That thing almost came out of the glove. No advancement, but a big second out.
Wasn't quite a snow cone, but it was pretty darn close.
You almost got to ask the question, what flavor?
We saw some white peek out from that glove, and
there's left fielder Brian Sullivan. Sullivan. That pitch gets away, and that's going to score a run. A wild pitch charge to Tudhope, and it is now 9-6.
Looked like he and Wolverton might have been crossed up on that. Scotty didn't. They're talking now. They definitely were not on the same page.
So a series of self-inflicted wounds for the Blue Dragons tonight. All coming since the 5th inning. 9-6 Johnson County. Runner at second, 2 away. 1-0 the count to Sullivan. Lefty-lefty matchup. Tuddy steps off, now gets right back on. And he steps off again, and now him and Scott Wolverton are having problems getting on the same page.
The Dragons don't have any errors on the scoreboard, but the way they've played these last 2 innings is reminiscent of what Johnson County did for them in the bottom of the first. Johnson County has been able to respond to that. But it took them a few innings, and the difference here is the Dragons don't have a few innings to respond to what Johnson County has done to them.
Pitch from Tudhope misses a bit high, 2-0 the count to Sullivan.
They've still got 4 at-bats, but they're going to have to be productive at-bats.
Fastball way inside, 3-0. Jaden Simmons begins to loosen in the Dragon pen. Everything was all light and airy through 4, but it has been nothing but a nightmare if you're a Blue Dragon since. There's a strike on 3-0. Sullivan still ahead in the count. Paget at second, 2 away. 1 run is crossed on a wild pitch. That's Tudhope's 8th wild pitch of the year. The pitch. Inside, nearly hit him. It's ball 4. Blue Dragon pitchers now have walked 5. Only struck out 3 and had 1 wild pitch. Zach Moore, 4 2/3 innings, 3 walks. Will Irvin, no outs, recorded a walk. Gage Burns didn't walk a batter, but gave up 2 hits. And David Tudhope walks his first batter. Now Troy Darling. And Darling had the key play of that 7-run 5th. Here's a strike. He hits a ground ball to Shane Cooper. And Shane got caught between decisions, and the runner beat Coop to the bag for the force, and then the floodgates opened. Here's the pitch. Hit well to center field. Hackle now drifting back. He's got it, and the inning is over. Johnson County comes up with 1 more on a wild pitch. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our new score, Johnson County 9 and Hutchinson 6. Wyatt Divis leads off the Dragons 6. Still 4 at-bats to go, but there's a sense of urgency if you're head coach Ryan Schmidt. Steve Carpenter with you. Denny Steckline about to rejoin us. And the first pitch to Wyatt Divis from Brennan Lewis is taken low for ball 1. Divis 1 for 2. His last time up, an RBI double in the third. There's a strike. That double by Divis is Hutchinson's last hit of the game. Since then, Wolverton walked, and the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dragons have been retired. Now it's 2-1 to Divis. Deontay Lowry does stay in the game for Johnson County to play center field. The pitch to Divis, and it's fouled off to the left, 2-2. This has been a resilient Blue Dragon team in 2017. In this 20-game winning streak, there have been several comebacks. There's a line shot left field for a base hit. A good start to the Dragons' 6. Divis with 2 hits.
Carp, that foul ball, there were about 9 kids chasing it, and I think 4 of them have the last name Schmidt.
It will be Scott Wolverton, the batter, and indeed, like I thought, Brock Schaefer is now in the on-deck circle. He will hit for Julian Ripp and take over in right field. Now we have another momentary stoppage. I think Sasha Sanguinetti's mask was needing to be readjusted. Dragons now with 6 hits. They've been out hit 13-6. Wolverton 0 for 1 with a walk. That single by Divis stops a streak of 7 in a row, retired, and Wolverton takes low ball 1.
We're going to get some activity in the Cavalier bullpen. Riley Buckley, freshman from Overland Park, has grabbed a ball and headed that direction, and so's his catcher.
Here's the pitch. Strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Buckley threw yesterday. Closed it out for Johnson County in that 7-4 win over Dodge City. Did not get a save in that situation. Here's a 1-1. Fouled off out of play with the right, and Wolverton's down on the count 1-2. Dragons led at 1.6-1. Now trail it 9-6. 8 unanswered runs by the Cavaliers. There's the pitch. That hit him. On a 1-2 pitch, Scott Wolverton gets on base the Blue Dragon way. Wolverton wears his 11th pitch of the year. The Dragons have been plunked now 70 times, and Brock Schaefer will be the pinch hitter. Schaefer will take over in right field.
We're going to have a trip to the mound before Brock gets a chance to dig in.
Brock Schaefer yesterday was 1 for 4 with a double. Kent Shelley to the mound. And we'll see if he makes the call for Briley Buckley.
I'd be surprised because Buckley hasn't thrown more than probably 6 or 8 pitches since he made the trip down there. I think this is just to buy some time for him to get loosened up.
I had a talk with Ryan Schmidt earlier today. He said this would be the case coming up with Brock. Once the left-hander LaPlante left the game, they got a little bit deeper into the game, that Brock Schaefer would take over in right field.
Do we see a sacrifice here, Carp?
I'd say there's a good bet. Still plenty of time to play small ball. Schaefer with 4 sacrifices. Brock hitting .254 with 17 hits, a home run, and 7 RBIs. He's gained confidence with that bat throughout the last third of the season. He does show bunt and takes outside ball 1. Now Jake Karst is going to go talk with Brennan Lewis. And I think, yeah, you're right, Danny. They're just killing time to make sure that Buckley is good and loose.
You mentioned Brock has a home run this season. That came on his first base hit of the season, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. That is correct. Davis at second, Wolverton at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth. Dragons trail Johnson County 9-6. The winner gets Cowley. The loser gets Fort Scott in an elimination game. There's a bunt. It's a good one. Fielded by the pitcher. The throw to first. And Workington holds the bag. So the sacrifice works for Brock Schaefer. That is his fourth of the year. And 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out for the top of the order in Shane Cooper. Davis at third now, Wolverton at second. Shane Cooper 0 for 3, excuse me. He scored a run by reaching on an error. Now Kent Shelley making his way to the mound again, and we will have another pitching change. So the wheels are turning here in Wichita. We'll have another pitching change, and we'll tell you about Briley Buckley right after this break. So Briley Buckley makes his second appearance here in Wichita for Johnson County. Buckley, a 5'11", 175-pound freshman from Overland Park. The numbers on Briley Buckley, on for the 25th time all in relief. A 9-2 record with 1 save and a 3.12 earned run average. Buckley has thrown 57 2/3 innings. He's allowed 44 hits, 23 runs, 20 earned. 80 strikeouts to only 23 walks. He's averaging 12.49 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Carp, if I'm looking at these right, every appearance has been in relief, and he leads the team in wins.
That is true. That is correct.
It's not something you see every day.
Team high 25th appearance. So he comes in with runners at second and third, 1 out. Tying run at the plate, and Shane Cooper, the top of the order. It'll be Cooper, then Hellman. Johnson County, 9 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors, 7 left on base. Hutchinson, 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. So here we go. Dragons trying to climb back in this one. Coop 0 for 3. There's the pitch. Ball 1 low. Coop now in Wichita, 1 for 7 in the postseason now, 6 for 16. Golden opportunity for the Dragons to climb back in this one.
Coop's more than due for a base hit.
Low 2-0.
But we'll settle for a walk, won't we?
Yes, we will. Wyatt Divis singled, Scott Wolverton walked, Brock Schaefer pinch hit and sacrificed him to second and third. And now it's 2-0 on Shane Cooper, Michael Hellman on deck. Buckley comes set, the pitch. in the dirt. Good stop by Karst. That saved a run. But now Cooper way up in the count, 3-0. It would sure be nice if the Dragons could somehow get to that winner's bracket final. Take the pressure off the pitching staff a little. The pitch. Taking all the way, that's a strike, and it's 3-1. If the Dragons lose this game tomorrow, they have to lose this game tonight, they have to play 2 tomorrow. And then still have to win 3 more to get to Grand Junction. The pitch. High chopper to third, and it gets past the third baseman. 1 run will score. Stopping at third is Wolverton. It's 9-7. That'll be the fourth. That'll be the 4th error of the game on the Cavaliers. It'll be an RBI for Cooper. Divis scores, Wolverton at third, and now Michael Hellman steps in. Hellman 2 for 3. Couple of singles. Cavaliers commit their 4th error of the game. So chance for the Dragons. Now the tying runs are on base.
Third baseman, he did. It was a tough chopper. It was a tough play, and he really looked like a hockey goalie going down trying to smother it and block it, but it just scooted underneath him.
Pitch to Hellman. Low and in, ball 1. This has been a game of give and take. Whatever one team has given, the other team has taken. Right now the Dragons need to...
They need to get selfish and take some more here.
Exactly. Cooper away from first to pitch to Hellman. That ball is hit toward the gap, left center field. On the run is Lauer. He makes the catch. Tagging from third is Wolverton. The throw comes in the second, and the Dragons are back within 1 on a sacrifice fly by Michael Hellman. So Coop stays at first. Wolverton scores, and it's 9-8 now. Here's Bobby Morganson. Bobby needs to break the RBI record right here. Strike 1 from Buckley. Morganson is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Bobby needs to hit one down into that right field corner and make it kind of take that curve.
The pitch, foul back. (9-8). Dragons are back within 1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning is over. Dragons get a couple back, 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 big error, and 1 left on base. We've completed 6 here in Wichita at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Our new score, Johnson County 9 and Hutchinson 8. Dragons back within one as we enter the final 3 innings of this winner's bracket semifinal here at the Region 6 tournament. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Jay Karst to face David Tedhope, and Tedhope misses outside ball 1. Tuddy's got to keep it right here. He came on in the 6th to shut the door. Allowed a run to score on a wild pitch. Right now, that's a difference in the game. The pitch flared foul off into the hardball cafe. 1-1 to Karst. Karst had a huge 2-run double in that 7-run 5th inning ahead of Johnson's 3-run inside the park home run. 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, and it's 1-2.
Dayton Lane's on his way down to the bullpen to join Jaden Simmons. I think that tells you the importance of this game in Coach Schmidt's mind, that we're on our 4th pitcher, and we've got 2 more warming up, that he wants this one. This is a big win.
Well, we told you the difference winning and losing. That pitch outside, 2-2. Again, you lose this game, you've got to win 2 tomorrow, 2 on Monday, and then the if game on Tuesday. You win this game, you're in the winner's bracket final. You're 1 game from a final. Called strike 3 inside corner. There's 1 away. Karst didn't think so, but he's rung up for the first out. That's Tedhope's first strikeout. And now Matt Johnson, 3-run inside the park home run.
Carp, what do you bet that when Karst comes out to work the bottom of the 7th, he and Sasha just have a nice conversation? None of us will know what's happening, but he's going to want those same calls for his pitcher.
Oh, you know it. That one fouled back into the sky boxes here at Lawrence-Dumont. 0-1 to Johnson.
And that's a conversation every catcher should have.
Oh, you bet. You bet. Trying to help your team out. Tutty into the windup. And just missed inside. Johnson was showing bunt. He took it just a bit off the plate inside, maybe a little bit low, 1-1. The pitch. Line down the left field line. It's foul. So getting back to the difference, you win tonight, you're in the 4 o'clock game tomorrow. You're only playing 1 time tomorrow. If you win that one, you're in the championship game. You only have to win 1 more. So the difference is huge for your pitching staff. Good pitch from Tedhope in on the hands, foul back to the screen. It remains 1-2. Double elimination tournaments. The longer you can stay in the winner's bracket, the less pitching you use. Again, Johnson showing about the pitch. Called strike 3, outside corner, 2 away.
Johnson didn't like it, but from our vantage point right here, that was a great call. It was all over the plate.
And it's a good thing Sasha Sanguinetti was looking down the third base line, because Johnson looked back at him a la Bryce Harper.
Shortstop, number 5, Nick McMurray.
Sometimes at this level, that'll get you dumped. Top of the order back around for the Cavaliers, Nick McMurray with his 5th plate appearance of the night. 0 for 3 with a walk. Ball 1. Dragons won their opener yesterday 7-1 over KCK. Ball 2. McMurray checked his swing.
Beautiful evening, Carp. It's, 68 degrees. We're up here in short sleeve and shorts. You look out, there's a few blankets. A little chilly out in the stands, but
2-1. There's a bunt drop down. Doge charges fields, throws, got him by a step, and the inning is over. That could be a momentum-changing type play. Caden Doge has been masterful at third base tonight. We've reached the stretch here in Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Our score, Johnson County 9, Hutchinson 8. Dragons trying to rally. They've gotten back within one. Now hitting home half of the seventh. Dragons will have the last at bat. Middle third of the order, Hackle, Hoover, and Doge. Nolan Hackle, 1 for 3. 3 RBI, or 1 for 2, 3 RBIs. With a hot shot into center field for a base hit. 7th hit of the game for the Dragons.
Boy, he
Hackle
thought
has a
about making
2-hit
that,
game.
didn't he?
He did. So a tying run on, and Brady Hoover will be the batter.
I love Hackle's approach there. First pitch, he drilled it and took off aggressively running. He was taking nothing for granted. And, you know, that turf bit him earlier on the big hop, and so he knows what can happen out there.
Hack now with 4 hits here in Wichita. Brady Hoover, 1 sacrifice for the year. The third baseman, Ollinger, playing back, now creeps in. Hoove shows bunt and takes high ball 1. So Kent Shelley readjusting his defense. Hoove showed bunt, and the Cavaliers scrambled. The pitch. Breaking pitch drops in for a strike. Tied Hoove up, and it's 1-1.
Third baseman was even with the bag. He's now backed up a few steps. Deep in the middle, looking for a double play.
Hackle 11 for 11 in stolen bases. Safe lead over at first, though. The pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of Karsten. It's 1-2, and Hoove may have chased one out of the zone. Brady will chase up. That hit by Hackle, his second of the game, the 7th by Hutchinson tonight. The pitch. Hoove grounds one to the left side. Big hop. They go to second for 1, on to first, and that's a double play. Good turn. Good play all the way around. And the leadoff single is erased. McMurray, a good turn by Johnson, and Workington with a pick at first. And the tying run erased. Now it's bases empty. 2 away for Caden Doge.
Third baseman, number 5.
Doge with an RBI double in the third, 1 for 2. He's been on base twice tonight. He walked in the first. The pitch. High ball 1.
Double play is one of those things you do worry about with Brady at times. He's not the most fleet of foot of Blue Dragons. And
high pop, right side near the line. And the first baseman, Workington, makes the catch, and it turns into a very quick inning. No runs a hit, and nobody left. We go to the 8th inning. Johnson County 9 and Hutchinson 8. We go to the 8th here in Wichita at Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Steve Carpenter, Denny Steckline with you. 9-8, Johnson County leads Hutchinson. 2, 3, and 4 here in the 8th for the Cavaliers. Lowry, Workington, and Paget against David Tudhope. Ground ball to the right side. Michael Hellman bobbles, and that'll be the first error of the game for the Dragons. Five total errors in the game. The first by the Dragons, and that'll bring up the hot-hitting Matt Workington, who's got 3 hits and 2 of them doubles, 2 runs scored.
Well, the Dragons got their leadoff hitter on in their last half, and he was erased on a double play. Let's see if the Dragons can turn the favor on the Cavaliers, or if they're able to take advantage of the Hellman error.
Ted Ope's pitch. Hit to center field. Hackle comes on. It's down for it. Nearly jumped over his head again. Hack played it aggressively. 2 on to start the 8th for the Cavaliers.
2 pitches, 2 well-hit balls by the Cavaliers. Coach Ryan Schmidt's taking a couple of steps up. Now he's going to make a trip to the mound.
That's a 4-hit night now for Workington, as Johnson County has doubled up Hutchinson's hit total, 14-7. Dayton Lane's the only Dragon in the pen.
And he's going to get the call.
We will have our 5th Blue Dragon pitcher of the night coming in. It'll be Dayton Lane. We'll tell you about him right after this break. So Dayton Lane comes in and tries to squelch this Cavalier rally. Runners at first and second. No out in the top of the 8th. An error and a base hit. Have Johnson County set up to try to get some insurance runs. 9-8 Johnson County leads. Dayton Lane out of College Station, Texas, on to try to shut it down. The team's closer. Lane on for the 19th time, 3-1 with 7 saves and a team best 3.0 earned run average. Lane's thrown 27 innings, 25 hits, 12 runs, 9 earned. He has struck out 32 and walked 14, and opposing batters hitting .240 against. He gets cleanup hitter Tanner Paget. Paget singled his last time up. He's 3 for 4. Matt Workington with a 4-hit game. So the Dragons have been murdered in the 3-4 spots tonight. See if Kent Shelley decides to bunt here, even with the cleanup hitter. He does show bunt and is bunted foul. Actually bunted through for a strike. Kent Shelley, over his Hall of Fame career, will bunt anytime 1 through 9 in the order. Any situation, any time in the game. Paget has not dropped down to sack bunt this year. He checks his swing, and the appeal is not held up, and it's 1-1 to Paget. Lane, a fastball, curveball, change-up pitcher. Or slider pitch, not curveball, slider pitcher. Fastball gets in the low 90s. Here's a 1-0. Off the plate, wide, 2-1. Lowry at second, Workington at first. Dragons have turned 2 double plays. They would love another one here. The pitch. High and tight, 3-1.
It's been a tight zone all night, and to Sasha's credit, it's not changed as the game has progressed. We'd love to see it change a little bit, at least this half inning.
Layton's going to have to come to Paget or load him up with nobody out. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Full count.
Paget had the green light there at 3-0, or with 3-1, I'm sorry.
So
now it's
count.
full.
Will Kent Shelley start the runners with nobody out? Good speed at second. Lane gets the sign from Workington, and now Dayton steps off. With nobody out, I doubt the runners will be on the move. Here's the payoff pitch. Runners
And they are.
High
And that's
fly
well
ball
hit.
deep to left field. Morganson going back, and it's gone. A 3-run home run by Tanner Paget. And it is now 12-8. Paget launches his 16th home run of the year. RBIs 58, 59, and 60. And the Dragon task becomes even more daunting now, trailing by 4 with just 2 at-bats remaining. And the old adage goes, you just can't fall behind hitters. That's a line shot by Ollinger to right field. Brock Schaefer dives, waiting for the signal. He makes the catch. Brock Schaefer continues to dazzle in right field. He had 2 tremendous web gems against Labette last week and turns in another one right there on Brad Ollinger. So 1 away for Brian Sullivan, the left fielder. Ball 1. Johnson County's 3-4 hitters, Workington and Paget, are a combined 8 for 10. They've only driven in 3 runs, but they scored 5. Now ball 2.
The 3 they've driven in have been pretty loud.
Yes, it was. That was a 3-run home run. Now 2-0 to Sullivan.
Loud and timely.
3-0.
Grady Kirkhart warming up in the Blue Dragon bullpen.
Cripples in there for a strike, 3-1. Probably will not see Jaden Simmons tonight, even though he did warm up. Ball 4. Troy Darling will be the batter.
Right fielder, number 32, Troy Darling.
Boy, since the 5th, Johnson County has outscored Hutchinson 11-2. That's in 4 innings. Outside the slider from Dayton Lane. Lane surrendering his 3rd home run of the year, the 43rd surrendered by the Dragons this year. 2 tonight, 1 an inside the park home run, 1 leaving the yard. 2-0. Quite simply, Denny, you just can't fall behind this Johnson County team and expect to have success on the mound.
No, definitely not. And, you know, Kerp, you don't want to think this way, but with a 6-1 lead after 3 innings, and the Dragons play a lot of freshmen in key situations and key positions. You know, did they start looking past some things and thinking, you know, gosh, we're up 5. We're gonna let's set the cruise control and get through this game.
There's a strike, and it's 2-2. That's an excellent point. That's the one thing that Ryan Schmidt has said throughout the year, that sometimes the freshman mentality creeps into this team at inopportune times. There's a foul tip into the glove of Wolverton, and that's a strikeout for Lane, and now 2 away. As Darling strikes out, Lane's first strikeout of the game, and that'll bring up Jake Karst, the catcher.
Kent Shelley coming out to
Thinking we'll have a pinch runner at first. It'll be Connor Schumacher running for Sullivan at first, and he'll also take over in the outfield.
Now running at first base, number 7, Connor Schumacher.
We saw this move yesterday. Schumacher out of Topeka. So now Carr's batting, runner first 2 away. 3-run home run by Tanner Paget. The big blow, the latest big blow, is a swing and a miss. The McLean drag strip sounding off again. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball up the middle. Cooper gets to it. Will go to first in time, and the inning is over. Paget's 3-run home run. 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 big error, and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dragons need to rally. They now trail Johnson County 12-8. Six outs left for the Dragons. Tanner Paget's 3-run home run gives Hutchinson a 4-run deficit. 12-8 Johnson County as we enter the bottom of the 8th inning. And once again, Sasha Sanguinetti having trouble with his mask, the home plate umpire. Connor Schumacher, who pinch ran in the top of the 8th, stays in the game to play left field. So while Sasha Sanguinetti tends to his mask, real quickly, let's get you caught up on what happened today. In the first elimination game, Fort Scott defeated Barton 7-5. The loser of this game will get Fort Scott at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Kansas City stayed alive with the 7-5 win over Dodge City. Kansas City will face Neosho County, which was a 2-0 loser to Cowley in the first winner's bracket semifinal before this one. Wyatt Divis takes a strike to start the 8th. Divis 2 for 3, an RBI double in the 3rd. He singled and scored in the 6th. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Briley Buckley in his second full inning. He came in to squelch the Dragon rally in the 6th. The 0-2. Missed a little bit low, 1-2.
Buckley's averaging over 2 innings per appearance, so this is not unusual for him to get to this point. And depending on pitch count, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come back in the 9th as well.
Pitch to Divis. A little bit outside, 2-2.
From the Dragon standpoint, we'd like to get rid of him here in the 8th.
Dragons only have 7 hits. They've been aided by 4 Johnson County errors. Called strike 3 at the letters, 1 away. Wyatt was biding his time, but Sasha Sanguinetti wasn't going to take too much more. He rings him up for the first out of the 8th. That is the second strikeout for Buckley. Now Scott Wolverton hits bases empty and 1 away. Dragons down to their final 5 outs. Wolverton 0 for 1. He flew out, walked, and hit by a pitch and scored. There's a chopper foul, fielded by Ryan Schmidt in the third base box.
Sasha seems to have found that backwards K. You know, he rung up three Cavaliers over the course of 2 innings, and now the one to Divis. Now those were the first ones since he rang up Morganson in the first inning.
0-2 to Wolverton, the pitch. A little bit low. Buckley animated out there on the mound.
Mr. Buckley, your strike zone just shrunk significantly with those antics.
That's a freshman showing right there.
Yeah, I think Kent Shelley will give him a little lesson on that after this half inning.
Here's the pitch. Slider outside, 2-2.
And he showed the frustration right there by overpowering one and missing badly.
Here's the 2-2. That's a call.
He gets that one.
Right on the outside corner, no doubt. 2 straight called thirds for Buckley. And it's 2 out, bases empty here in the bottom of the 8th for Brock Schaefer. Brock Schaefer entered the game in the 6th, pinch hitting for Julian Ripp and dropped down a sacrifice. That led to a couple of runs, albeit unearned. It got the Dragons within 1. Strike 1. Coming up on the 10 o'clock hour here in Wichita. Outside for ball 1-1 to Schaefer. Wine in the pitch. That one's ripped foul. And it's 1-2. Not sure if that one was hit as hard that buzzed past my head earlier today. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, and Buckley strikes out the side in the 8th. We head to the 9th. Dragons trail 12-8. Sophomore Grady Kirkhart becomes the 6th Blue Dragon pitcher of the evening for Ryan Schmidt. Kirkhart, a sophomore out of Lyons. On for the 10th time, 5th in relief, a 4-1 record with a 4.06 earned run average. Grady's tossed 31 innings, allowed 36 hits, 18 runs and 14 earned. He has struck out 14, walking 6, and opponents hitting .281 against. There's Matt Johnson, his 3-run inside the park home run capped at 7-run 5th inning. Kirkhart starts him off with a strike. Johnson 1 for 4. That pitch taken low, 1-1. Wyatt Davis will get the start in the third game of the series tomorrow. The score holds. It will be at 1 o'clock against Fort Scott. Pitch in the dirt. 2-1 again. Johnson showing, but that's just to get ahead of the pitcher. Danny mentioned that earlier.
He's done it the first 2 times up with when he's been behind in the count and 2 strikes on him. 2-1 the count here.
Pitch off the plate wide, 3-1. Now the Dragons just need to pound the zone, and that's one thing they have not done this evening. High fly ball hit the left field. Morganson going back, still going back. He's at the track, and he can't make the catch. Already heading to third is Johnson. He may have been thinking inside the park again. So it's a 3-bagger for Johnson. He has had himself a night. That'll bring it to the top of the order again. Nick McMurray hits for the 6th time tonight. Now 16 hits in the game. 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. McMurray has to scamper out of the way of that one.
Shortstop number 5, Nick McMurray.
Since the 5th, this has been all Johnson County. That's up the middle and through, and it's 13-8. McMurray with his first hit of the game. He's now 1 for 5 with an RBI single.
It's gut check time for the Blue Dragons now, Carp. Defensively getting out of this inning with no further damage, and then coming up in the bottom of the 9th with a disciplined approach at the plate and showing the Cavaliers that this game's not over.
Here's Deontay Lowry. He came in as a defensive replacement after Lowry got hurt, and he just gets hit with a pitch. Unfortunately for Grady Kirkhart, he's going to have to...
This is his game.
Exactly. The Dragons can't afford to use any more pitching,
First baseman number
as the task at hand to get to Grand Junction, if this stays as it is, they're going to have to win 5 straight. And the Dragons, as good as they have been pitching all year, not that deep of a pitching staff. They've had some injuries to some personnel slow them down, and they've really hurt the depth. Now here's Matt Workington, a 4-hit game. Strike 1 to Workington. Workington and Padgett have combined 8 hits. Padgett's on deck. Right now, Padgett with the big blow after the Dragons pulled within 1. Padgett hit the 3-run home run in the top of the 8th inning. That made it a 4-run deficit. Now that deficit has grown to 5. Still nobody out here in the 9th. That bunt popped up. Kirkhart will have it. He can't double off any runner. So Kent Shelley wanting to add some more. They know, the Cavaliers do, the Dragons can score runs in bunches. Here's Tanner Padgett. Due up in the 9th. It is at the top of the order for Hutchinson. Cooper, Hellman, Morganson, and then Hackle. So while it looks bleak right now, it's still not over. The Dragons still breathing until that final out is recorded. Pitch in the dirt, knocked out by
They're going
Wolf.
to try.
They're
They
gonna
got a
move up
chance.
and throw down, and they got him. Good throw from Scotty Wolverton, right on the money to Caden Doge. Now 2 away.
Can't fault the runners for going on those. We've seen the ball do some squirrely things when it bounces in this turf. That one just happened to stay close enough to Wolverton that he could make the throw and had it right on the bag for Doge.
It had to be a perfect throw. The pitch. Strike called, 1-1. You and I with these sophomores, Danny, have seen some crazy things happen. That Independence Series last year, maybe the craziest of them all. So this is not quite over with yet.
No. No, Independence had put up 15 on the Blue Dragons before we got to the bottom of the third. What was it, 15-7, 15-8?
15-8.
And the Dragons came back to win that one.
And they were down 8-0 after an inning. First 8 runs of that third game last year against Indy. Now we're going to have a quick chat between Kirkhart and Scott Wolverton. Again, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so an early happy Mother's Day to all out there. I know my wife Tina's listening in back in Hutch. This will be the 14th straight Mother's Day we've spent apart, so I'm always right here. So sorry, Tina.
Has she ever complained about that, Carp?
A time or two. That pitch bounces in and gets over the head of Wolverton, and that'll allow the runner, Lowry, to move up to third. When you look at the negative checks tonight by the pitchers, 6 walks, 5 have scored. Been 2 wild pitches, 1 hit batter, which has scored, or which has not scored, I'm sorry. That's the runner at third. Kirkhart out of the windup, the 2-1. The line shot over Hellman's glove.
Well, you jinxed it, Carp.
It's 14-8. Paget just got one over the glove of Hellman. He drives in his 4th run in his last 2 at-bats, and Tanner Paget has a 5-hit game. We'll get a pinch runner at first base. It'll be pitcher Brandon Stanek. He'll run for Paget.
Now running at first base for the Cavaliers, number 19, Brendan Stanek.
Stanek was the winning pitcher for the Cavaliers yesterday. The Dragons, if this score holds, will have lost their last 3 meetings with Johnson County in the postseason. The last Hutchinson wins against the Cavaliers came in that magical season of 2010 as Brent Ollinger takes one low. Johnson County in that sub-regional, it was Hutchinson, Pratt, Johnson County, and Allen County. Move over to first by Kirkhart. Johnson County beat Hutch the first time. Dragons had to defeat Allen in extra innings to get to the championship game. Then they came back and defeated Johnson County twice. Pitch in on the hands. Fouled by Ollinger back, and it's 1-1. Then Dragons came down here and won those 3 thrilling games with Butler, Cowley, and Seward County to get to Grand Junction, which is the last time Hutchinson has been to the World Series. Dragons now in danger of losing their 3rd straight to the Cavaliers since. Swing and a miss. If this holds up, Danny Steckline, last year's game or this one, which may be more painful? I'm thinking, actually, I think this year might be the more painful one.
That was a no-brainer to me. I think this one was.
Even though last year's loss ended the season. The pitch. High pop to shallow right. Hellman drifting back. Schaefer coming in. And it's Michael Hellman making the catch to end the 9th inning. Johnson County comes up with 2 more insurance runs on 3 hits. The Dragons need base runners and then runs. Minimum of 6 to extend this one. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 14-8 Johnson County. Riley Buckley will try to close it down for the Johnson County Cavaliers. Ranked number 14 in the last poll. Hutchinson number 3 in the last poll. Buckley has thrown 2 2/3 innings, allowed just 1 hit and struck out 4. He will work against the top of the order, Cooper, Hellman, and Morganson. And if anybody gets on, Nolan Hackle. Shane Cooper has reached base twice on an error. On errors, he's 0 for 4. Buckley starts off ball 1. Buckley trying to save it for Brennan Lewis. There's a strike. 1-1. 14 runs, 18 hits, 4 errors for Johnson County. 8-7-1 for Hutch. That's a shot up the middle, nearly clipped Buckley. And it's a good start to the Dragon ninth. Cooper extends his hitting streak to 6 games now. And here's Michael Hellman. He extended his hitting streak to 11, his current hitting streak to 11. Hellman is 2 for 4, a pair of singles, hitting for the 5th time. Inside for a ball 1-0. Right now the Dragons just need base runners. You just keep putting the pressure on. That's how a big inning starts. It's not by the big bombs. You just need to keep runners on base and keep putting pressure on the opposition. Hellman takes high 2-0.
Several bodies are in the Johnson County bullpen. Nobody up throwing currently, but I would imagine it's only going to take one sign and we'll see some activity.
Pitch to Hellman. There's a strike at the knees inside corner. Hellman taking all the way, and it's 2-1. We have confirmation from my wife. Here's the pitch. Ground ball.
Nice snag.
Nice stop at the third baseman. They get the force at second. Great play by third baseman Brant Ollinger to get the lead runner. And the Dragons expend one of their 3 precious outs. Now Bobby Morganson, the batter. Just to let you know, Danny, Tina has complained about Mother's Day.
Oh, okay. Very good.
So Morganson hits. 0 for 3, has struck out twice, walked once, and scored. Ground ball to third. They go to second for 1. Ball's dropped. And they're going to call him out and saying he was on the transfer, and that's going to get Ryan Schmidt to come out and argue with third base umpire Randy Jordan. I don't think so.
It was hard to tell from up here, but it did not appear that he really grabbed it cleanly. Oh, I'm sorry.
It is an argument that Ryan Schmidt's not going to win. We're going to take a look at here. We can back the stream up and take a look at it. We'll see.
I don't think he caught it, Carp.
I don't think he did
He
either.
didn't catch
we
it.
just looked at the stream, and second baseman Matt Johnson clearly dropped the ball. So the Blue Dragons lose the argument. Now the Dragons are down to their final out with center fielder Nolan Hackle. With our stream, we have the ability to run it back. We can't show replays, obviously. But with our stream, we can run it back and look at it, which has been beneficial throughout the year for us to see certain things. Here's Hackle, a 2-hit game, and it's a strike from Buckley. The pitch, outside for a ball, 1-1. If the score holds, we'll be back on the air tomorrow at 12:45. Hopefully for a doubleheader. The pitch. One outside, 2-1. I can tell you for a fact that the most runs the Dragons have ever scored with 2 outs is 10. There's a shot foul. Hit well, but hooked out of play.
I would settle for 9 tonight, Carp.
I would too. I would.
Give us a lead and a little bit of a cushion.
Well, it'll be a walk-off, so I'd take 7 right now.
Oh, good point. Yeah, shoot, I was
You're being greedy. You were thinking a walk-off granny.
absolutely.
And the pitch to Hackle. Inside full count. So Morganson will go on the pitch. Johnson County a strike away from a date with Jayhawk East rival Cowley in the winner's bracket final. Cowley took 3 out of 4 from the Cavaliers in the regular season to claim the conference championship. Runner goes. Hack will foul it off to the left. It'll get second row into the seats. Nolan Hackle's probably had the best swings of any Blue Dragon tonight. Hutch with 10 hits yesterday afternoon against KCK. Only 8 tonight against 3 Cavalier pitchers. Morganson goes the pitch. That's hit foul again off to the left into the Dragon pen. So if anything, Nolan Hackle making Bradley Buckley work, and with every pitch, the chances lessen for him to throw against Cowley tomorrow. Dave Burrows has got to be liking that, the Cowley head coach. Runner goes again, the pitch. Hit well to the left toward the line. Schumacher other, and he's got it, and the ball game is over. Johnson County heads to the winner's bracket final and snaps Hutchinson's school record 20-game winning streak with a 14-8 win here tonight in the winner's bracket semifinal. So the Dragons will play Fort Scott tomorrow 1 in the elimination game. And now the Dragons, to get to Grand Junction, are going to have to win 5 in a row. We'll total it up and wrap it up right after this break. Welcome back to Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. Steve Carpenter and Denny Steckline with you after the Blue Dragons see their school record 20-game winning streak come to an end in the winner's bracket semifinals of the Region 6 tournament, losing to number 14 Johnson County by the score of 14-8. Blue Dragons led 6-1 after 4 innings. Then Johnson County scored 7 two-out runs in the top of the 5th inning, and then went on to outscore the Blue Dragons 13-2 over the final 5 at-bats. And so the Blue Dragons fall to the loser's bracket. They will play Fort Scott tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. We'll have the broadcast for you about 12:45. Here are the totals for the ball game. For the Cavaliers, 14 runs, 18 hits, 4 errors, 9 left on base. For the Blue Dragons, 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 5 left on base. The winning pitcher, Brennan Lewis, he improves to 4-2. Will Irvin will be charged with the loss. He's 2-1, and Briley Buckley gets his second save of the year. Time of ball game in 3 hours and 10 minutes. We said it earlier, Denny Steckline. This was a game of give and take, and unfortunately, the Cavaliers took way more than the Blue Dragons when the opportunities presented themselves.
Yeah, it was, Carp, even when we were up 6-1, you had that uneasy feeling that this was a long way from being over. And, we chatted in between innings early on after it was 3-1 after the first that we knew there was three was not going to be anywhere close to enough runs in this game. Now, I never thought Johnson County would get to 14, but the Dragons just showed some lapses, the inability to finish a few plays, the fielder's choice that didn't happen at second, where the runner beat the play at the bag, that really turned to be damaging. And then he didn't get charged in error, but the defensive play at center where the ball skipped over Nolan Hackle's head and resulted in an inside the park 3-run home run. Just the things like that have been uncharacteristic of this Blue Dragon team that we've seen throughout the season. Several things for Coach Schmidt to lose some sleep on tonight, including having to go through, what we use, 6 pitchers?
Yes.
Certainly not what he wanted to do tonight. And really you can't fault Zach Moore. Zach had been off, with the injury for quite a while. Zach did what you needed him to do, and did he get through 4? Got into the 5th.
Yes.
Got 4 2/3, didn't he?
Yep. So
he left the game right before the derailment.
he lost his command. That kind of started it. Blue Dragons offensively, 8 hits. They got 2 hits from Nolan Hackle. He drove in 3. He has 5 RBIs here in Wichita. Wyatt Divis, 2 hits. Michael Hellman, 2 hits. Only 2 for extra bases, doubles by Doge and Divis. And then Johnson County they got 5 hits from Tanner Padgett. He was 5 of 6. Matt Workington, 4 of 6. Shockingly, Workington didn't drive in or run. He scored 3, though. Padgett drove in 4. But the Cavaliers, once the dam broke, 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. And it was just a tough evening after the 15 that the Blue Dragons are going to have to learn from tomorrow. They're going to have to win 5 in a row to get to Grand Junction, but it all starts with the Fort Scott game tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd say they can't think about 5 in a row. They need to think it one at a time. They need to start a new 1-game winning streak with the 1 o'clock game tomorrow against Fort Scott and worry only about Fort Scott at this point.
Well, that will come scheduled for 1 p.m. The 10 o'clock elimination game will be KCK and Neosho County. We'll be on the air with you about 12:45 if everything stays on schedule. And if Hutchinson would win that game, we'll be back at it again tomorrow night at 7 p.m. That's going to do it from Lawrence-Dumont Stadium. On behalf of Danny Steckline, Steve Carpenter, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 12:45. The final score tonight, Johnson County 14, Hutchinson 8. The Dragons are down to 1 more loss before the season might be over, and that 5-game winning streak must start tomorrow at 1 p.m. against Fort Scott. Until then, so long, everybody.